They're already here.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome. That thumbnail is crazy. We know.
Yeah, that thumbnail is insane. I'm not gonna lie. That thumbnail is
Yeah.
insane.
Coming into this week strong, but we love it. Chat, what's good? To our haters, what's good? Glad you all could join us. It's been a crazy week, that is for sure. And we are going to start at the beginning. KB was just saying that last Sunday, if you guys were with us, he predicted that we were gonna go 1-3, while me and Gifted had a little bit. We thought had a little bit more hope. We thought we'd at least win 2 out of 3. So hopefully KB's curse doesn't affect us in today's
Curse. It
game
was a
against.
prediction.
Sorry.
Hey, no
Uh,
ill will
yeah,
on my end, but I promise.
yeah. Hopefully it doesn't come to fruition. I guess I'll say that. But yes, we're gonna go into the Draymond thing. Shout out to the guys that make our thumbnails. They are legends for sure. But yeah, we're gonna start at the beginning, guys. If you have any specific questions about the Warriors, or if you just want to troll, that's totally fine. Send us a super chat. We will be reading those as soon as you send them in today. But we're gonna start at the very beginning, where Draymond was in fact suspended indefinitely because of what happened against Phoenix Suns and specifically Nurkic. We, as the three of us, haven't been able to go over that, even though I'm sure you've heard our individual takes. But now looking back in hindsight, KB, why don't you start us off with kind of what you took from that situation and how you're feeling about it now, almost a week later?
I don't know. Every time I think about it, it's just really funny to me because I don't know what's wrong with Draymond. We all know Draymond has these sporadic moments, like maybe once through a season where like it may get sporadic. He's actually had seasons before where there wasn't any like physical altercations. It was more so just refs and
Yeah,
like he not agreeing with the call, getting loud, and then getting attacked.
right.
I don't know what it is this year. Like I don't know how. It doesn't. I actually can't find words to describe what he's been doing this year in terms of like on court things.
Yeah.
How do you go from this was his run, by the way, from like April to now? He went from a stomp to a full Nelson to a Superman punch, and it was just like I'm gonna keep just upping that. Like I'm just keep upping it over and over and over again. And every time he did it, he was like, "Y'all not gonna stop me from being Draymond." Like he had a point to prove. Like we understand you're Draymond. No one else is doing this. We already know that. There's only one Draymond Green. I promise you, no one is trying to replicate what you're trying to do. We could all agree upon that.
We
We
see
just
you.
want you on the floor.
Yeah.
That's all we want. All we want you is on the floor. Like yesterday, or what game was it? I think it was the game against the Clippers. The Clippers game was like a clear indicator of someone like Draymond Green being missing. Because
Yeah.
defensively, we were terrible. I didn't think we were good that game at all. We could get threes up. We could get our offense going because the Clippers have their own flaws defensively. But you lost a lot defensively in that same game as well, and you needed it. So like when I'm watching these games and then you're just being suspended indefinitely, and I'm assuming he's probably gonna get anywhere between like he's probably gonna get like I don't even know, probably like a 10 game, maybe 15, because
Okay.
he's indefinitely suspended. He's doing classes, and then they'll probably suspend him for like a legitimate amount of games.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, Draymond, I don't think you need quote unquote help. I just think you need to just focus on what you need to focus on, the season, because everybody is needed, especially a core piece. And yeah, stop next time you come back. No people's elbows, no over the table. None of that, bro. I don't want to see any of that, man. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
In FIFA, to your chat, we will address the Draymond trade rumors and the teams that are highlighted for him to go to and the odds there. So we'll see. But yeah, Gifted, the whole Draymond situation, it just keeps getting progressively worse because everybody's treating him like he's in rehab or needs rehab, right? Like, I just hope bro gets help. I just hope, the brother gets help. And it's just like, yeah, for sure. But like Draymond is not gonna get helped by therapy. I mean, therapy is great and all that, but I don't think this is a issue that could be tackled there. But I might be wrong. What do you think on that front?
Well, first off, I just find it comical how every single week of this show, literally things change so dramatically. Last week, we thought this was behind us. We're moving on. We're trying to win basketball games. And then literally like 2 games after that, Draymond is now out for God knows how long. In terms of the Draymond help thing, Draymond has children. He's a grown man. He doesn't have many years left in the NBA at large. So to think that he's going to have like a humongous change of heart, I really don't know how that's going to go. I just think he's wilding. He's a professional. You can't hit people in the face and just say, "Oh, well, I didn't think my arms could reach that far, but you did it." And you're grown. Like he's not like a 21-year-old, 22. He's a grown man doing these things. So I mean, at a certain point, it just is what it is, and he deserves punishment for what he did. You know what I'm saying? I have no love lost for that. He deserves those games. All we're asking is, can he just, control it until the playoffs, or like at least later into the season? These Draymond trade packages are funny because I really don't think they trade Draymond regardless. But even if they were, what's the needle moving piece from Draymond? That's always been my question for this team. How will they look without Draymond long term if they don't find a replacement? We still don't know. And a part of that is playing some of the younger guys to see what that future might look like. But it's a rough spot. I won't lie to you, Haley.
Yeah, and to the guy in the chat, you guys stop with the KB hate. We are all equal here, and we all have a role. So if you don't like it, you can go. Peso, also, you said, are we done with him and defending him, or was this the last time? And I'll start here because you guys know I'm quite a Draymond Green fan, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This was my last straw, and you might think like, oh, well, this in comparison to the Gobert incident was nothing, and I think it was it wasn't the actual incident, because I agree, I'm not the greatest Nurkic fan, I'll admit that, but it was the fact of the carelessness of this incident and how it's basically like an FU, a middle finger to not only the dudes that he should have respect for on the court that are on the opposing team, but his own teammates as well, especially Steph. And he knows what this does to Steph. We've seen some of the repercussions of that loss in Draymond, and it's just it's hard to see. And so at this point in time, like, I am no longer Draymond's biggest fan. I still love him. I still will root for him, but I think this was just the last straw, because what realistically, what are you adding to this team? What value? Because your value is not what it used to be. I think we can all admit that. He's still valuable, but you can be replaced. There's a lot of young blood in the league right now. You can be replaced, and I just hope he takes his time. But at this point, like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think Draymond is who Draymond is. And I think that, Gifted, you said maybe they won't trade him. That's not even maybe on the table, but I actually disagree with you. I think that this might be very much on the table because it's Mike Dunleavy Jr. and because he doesn't have that same attachment to Draymond that I think Bob and others might have had, but I could be totally wrong, and we can get into that. But KB, as of right now, where are you as a fan of Draymond? Are not just a fan, but where are you in, like, did this incident change anything for you? Or are you still ride or die for Dre?
I wasn't ride or die for him at all.
Okay.
But I think we do need him on this team. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I've said this countless times. Draymond Green is a core piece for this team. When he's been on the floor and he's been locked in this year, he's been immense. He's been offensively, he's been really good. He's been hitting his shots. People have obviously leaving him open, but he's been capitalizing on those threes. He's been attacking closeouts, obviously finding Steph, playing with Steph as well. Obviously, like, the connection between those two is unscalable. I guess that's the word to say. And yeah, I think we need him on this team. I don't really understand, like you said, like the trade rumors and things like that. I was trying to trade him. Like, I get the off-court antics. I understand that he's a issue, and I understand that because he's not the same player as well, that you're not gonna be able to tolerate it because he's just losing value because he's getting older. But he still brings a lot of value to this team. I'll be honest with you. Like, you try to replace him with anybody else, even Kuminga right now, who's in year 3, who kind of has a better understanding of the offense, where to find guys. He still has a lot of he still has a lot to fill in terms of shoes for what Draymond Green did defensively, the connectivity he bring offensively as well. And even in the league, like, you try to find a guy like that, they're either already on a championship team or already a better player than someone like Draymond Green. And I don't think any contending team would lose that for someone who is a worse version of himself while also having these same, like, off-court antics. So, like, you feel me? I don't know. I don't think I'm of the mindset of trading Draymond. I don't really think it's funny enough. I don't think Draymond's the issue on court. I just think what he's doing, like, in terms of fighting people, obviously getting into arguments, the throwouts in games, I think that's the issue. But when he's locked in, he's there for us every time. When he's locked in, mind you, that's a big asterisk. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, keeping Draymond is fine. We need to get rid of a couple other guys.
Okay,
And,
drop some names.
Oh, we already said it. Number 11. That's one of them.
You're still on the Klay. Get Klay out of
Yes,
here. Even after he's averaging like 20 points in the last.
He's been
he don't care.
Listen, he's been doing this for us for years, Taylor. You can't get fooled by the fog. You feel me?
He was begging for Klay to miss shots yesterday, by the way. That shit was hilarious.
You're preying on his downfall, KB.
I'm not preying on his downfall. I think
yes, you are.
Listen,
when he scores more than 20, you're like, oh,
y'all get y'all get this confused. I think Klay is fine, right? I think Klay is obviously what he did for our team has been great, but he's getting paid a lot of money to do things that you could find out of a player for an MLE, and there's
that's cap.
Tell me I'm lying.
That's cap. So the shot that he hit.
I'll give you an example, Gifted.
Okay.
The guy who is behind him in B-Podz is being a better player for us right now. Yes or no? Who's been more impactful?
Because you have to. I mean, over the last couple games, sure, but how many turnovers did he have yesterday, KB?
Who, B-Podz? I'm not sure.
5.
I just want to focus on what KB said, though, right? So you said that what Klay Thompson's doing right now is he's giving you things that an MLE player guy could give you, right? I don't think an MLE player guy can shoot 44% on like 80 plus threes in his last 10 games. And I don't think that specifically the big shot he hit last night where they put 2 on the ball for Steph and he hits a sidestep dribble 3 to kind of like seal the game before Steph seals the game. I don't think any random guy can give you that. And that's not me saying that you can't trade Klay, but I'm just saying like it's not worth it if it's not a realistic trade that actually makes his team better because he has one more year left. I think he rides out the year personally.
I think he should go. That expiring you should try to get rid of. I just don't think. I'll be honest with you. He's not the co-star that you need for a championship contending team.
No, he's not.
I think co-star though. No one is.
No. But I'm just saying because the money that he has, you would obviously think that he's a co-star, but we know he's not. But like as I'm saying, offensively, you always get these same inconsistencies of like October through late November where he's just terrible. December through January, he's playing out of body experience pretty much. I don't even know what to call it because like December through January, Klay is just like
he be hooping. He be hooping, man. I don't know.
And then
like still contributes to getting to the playoffs.
February through April is like, can you ride this out or you just go back to what you were in October? And I'm not gonna lie, he'd be going back to what he was like in October. And then the playoffs come around, and teams are literally I watched last year, guys. This is what made me realize we actually need to get rid of him. I watched last year. Teams dead leave step like Klay open, be like they treated him as like a guy to dare him to like beat them, and he couldn't like over and over and over. And I knew Klay was a playoff dropper, but like he couldn't hit his wide open threes. And then on top of that, defensively he's terrible. So like I don't feel
terrible defensively. He's average now. He's not terrible.
I'll be honest. He's
like average to negative.
He's like the fifth best defender on our team. Who's a better defender, Klay or Steph?
You don't want to know my answer.
It's Steph. I'll do that. Yeah. I'll be real with you.
Point of attack Steph is the best point of attack defender of the guards in the starting lineup. I'm gonna just say it like that, bro.
Podz. Listen, Podz defense has been moving me these past couple games.
The thing is, people get confused by Podz's defense. I think it's
that passing lane shit. Yeah,
the passing lanes and the charges is what sets him apart. But I'm talking about point of attack. Steph is actually able to stay in front of guys better than Klay Thompson now. Klay Thompson off ball, I don't even want to talk about that. My God, that is
actually he played pretty solid off ball last night with Cam Thomas. They just didn't want to communicate on screens for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then when you got him in his spots, what happened?
You mean when he used the screen to get to open space and no one came up to switch everything?
And the same Klay used to be a very solid screen navigator. Just couldn't get around that screen.
Okay, I mean, hey,
like these things matter, guys. To me, at least. Like I don't.
Listen, I hear you. I just like okay. I would understand it, right? If he had like 2 or 3 years left and he's making like 40, I'm like, oh yeah, trade his ass today right now. But I feel like because he has one more year expiring, I think the return that you get is not going to justify trading him if he's going to turn up to be at a higher level for the rest of the season. I don't think you trade Klay for anything that's going to make you better in the playoffs right now.
Well, that's my problem though. It's like you don't play out the season and then what? Let him walk. You just lose everything, and then now what?
That's true.
Because like that just doesn't make any sense. You have an expiring deal right here that you can get off the books right now. You can be on the market trying to look for players who want to contend and talk to other teams as well. I'm of the belief, bro, you can't just go into the off season again, or even if you make it there, play mediocre basketball, then go into another off season where you guys are fighting over contracts, and because of his Warriors tenure, he wants the extra $100 million. Like
he's not getting that.
I just can't.
Yeah.
He almost got it. He almost got a 2-year, $48 million extension. Mind you, that's $24 million a year. That is not. I'm not paying Klay $24 million. He's not. I'm just not paying him that much money.
I mean, so how much money is Klay worth then in your mind? And don't troll.
Like, yeah. If another team were to pick him up, not just on the Warriors,
because he's still one of the best shooters in the league. Like that. That's not like a.
I say I wouldn't be mad at like 4 years, $52 million.
4 years, 52. So you're saying he's a $12 million player,
like $13 million. Yeah.
I'm
not paying him anything. I'm not paying him anything more than 20. That's just impossible. I'm not.
Well, good thing you're not a GM because there's no way.
I'd dead let him walk if he said, "Yeah, I want 20 more mil." I'm like, "Yo, Klay, we finna have your jersey up by the end of the season. I'll let you, bro." Like I'm being so serious. I'm not paying him more than 20 mil. There's just no way. There's too many 20-point scores in this league. There's too many like solid spacers in this league for you to demand that level of money to me. So like,
okay, I have a question then. Let's say Klay. Let's say he I don't know what he's averaging now, but let's say he averages 23 points for the rest of the season. Let's say his December through February, stretch is continued into the rest of the season, and he turns out to have a huge impact on the remainder of the season. Does that change your mind at all? No.
Yeah, see,
well, you've been out. I mean, I just
don't think you're being realistic though. If you're talking about the NBA as a business, if he's averaging those numbers at a much higher efficiency, that's worth more than 13 million a year. If you don't want to admit that, that's fine.
If you want to say that's worth 13 more million a year, but to Kaylee's point, what she just said as an example would be an anomaly of a season for Klay. Me banking on him continuing this anomaly while also still not addressing the problems that we have and giving him more money. It just wouldn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the anomaly here?
Him continuing to average 23 a game on like great efficiency from January onwards.
Like having just a really good, consistent remainder of the season.
Yeah, especially now. Like he's been last year, he had the same stretch where he went crazy, and then like years prior, he just been like it's been up and down.
He's had good full seasons, incredible, especially around like 2016. The thing is, though, he is coming off
Achilles.
Yeah, and I understand like what you're saying. I understand we're kind of looking at these players now as like who is the most risk. I understand like Klay is fading before our eyes. We're seeing that, and I can understand that, but for his role and like what we're asking him to do right now, we're asking him to fill more shoes because we have a lot of guys out and we have a lot of young guys, right? We need those. We need Wiggins. If Wiggins was playing at an elite level, if Draymond was there, if Gary was there, I don't think Klay would be asked to do as much. He could just do what he does and shoot.
Even in 21-22, where Wiggins was better, our defense looked great. There were still things when I was watching Klay and I'm like, man, like he has moments, like a lot of moments where he just takes away more than what he gives you. And we're watching that same game yesterday with Gifted. Mind you, he had some very timely threes. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But he was also, for some possessions, tanking our offense. Like
he did take some very bad shots. Like, yeah,
there was a play where
he does, though. He's always done that. That's him. And a lot of players do that.
I mean, personally, if I see something that's intolerable in terms of your tendencies as a player, even though you've been with me for a long time, I'm not going to sit here and just accept it. I can't. Especially when you have a player who is a top 5 player in the league and who is trying to get back to where he wants to be in terms of contending for a championship. You have a couple pieces that can help you contend as well. I'm not saying Klay is maybe the first guy to look at. I already said the first guy I want to look at is Chris Paul in terms of how to get rid of him, how to trade him, how to make sure he's not extended, right? I just think your main priority is someone who is a secondary shot creator. The Warriors still look at Klay as a secondary shot creator. I don't think he's that level of someone who can shoot off the dribble, who can attack a closeout, who can beat guys off the dribble. He settles for a lot of jump shots. Yes, he's a good jump shooter, but I just don't want to continue with these bad tendencies, especially come postseason where we have possessions and stretches where we rely on the shot making, and it hasn't done a lot of good for us, especially in the postseason. So like, I can't do that while him also getting paid $40 million, and then getting that off the books to let him walk when you could just trade him. If this is the case where he's showing this stretch of great basketball, so use that as an advantage to put him on the market and be like, yo, we still have a great player here, yada yada yada, and you can probably try to finesse him or finagle your way into a good trade deal. That's just me.
I guess what I'm trying to like do here, and again, like I want to make my side very, very clear. I'm not opposed to trading Klay Thompson. I'm not in the camp to where Klay is an untradeable player. What I'm saying is, if you're trading him just to trade him, that's a terrible decision and an idea, because ultimately he's an expiring contract for this year. You have to trade him for something that's going to put you in a better position to where it actually moves the needle. If you're just trading Klay to trade Klay and it's not a needle move, then I'm not going to do it. And I'm just saying in a vacuum, right? Last season, Klay averaged 21 points. He shot 43%. I'm pretty sure he shot 41% on like 10 threes a game, which is still very, very elite. That level of shooter on that volume is absolutely worth more than $13 million, especially in a league where the cap keeps going up. Contracts that are like 20 million are actually going to be steals in the next 2 to 3 years. So I'm not even opposed to that per se. But again, it has to make sense. I don't believe in just trading a player because it frustrates you and they might do X or Y things the wrong way. It has to actually move some type of needle. If that was out there, sure, do it. But I don't think those moves are out there right now for the Warriors.
So
right?
I think we all agree he could be traded. I'm just saying I don't think he's the first that has to go. Like in your mind, I think you're like Klay. Moving off of Klay can change up everything, like in a good, positive way. I just disagree. I think Wiggins could be a move. I think Kuminga might have to be a part of a package. I think that Draymond could even be movable, but you guys might disagree. I think there's a lot of routes we can go, and I don't even know if we're gonna make any moves, honestly.
I don't know. I guess I think Klay's the second person to look at to be traded. I think versus Chris Paul, like immediately. I think Klay second. Yeah. I think Wiggins is third, and then whoever gets traded. I'll be honest with you, but I don't know. I understand Wiggins being terrible, and we can get to that because he's been like very bad. But like off the bench so far, he's been good. He's been like getting his legs back under him. His mid range is starting to fall. The defense is actually as terrible as it was these past few games as well. So like it looks like he's getting himself acclimated. But the thing is though, like I understand the Wiggins slander, but for him specifically, I don't get this because Klay's older, his contract is bigger. He still shows like flashes of being very elite. I understand Wiggins can technically have more value, but wouldn't you want to bank on Wiggins more to get back to where he was versus then asking Klay to get somewhere where he just, in terms of his entire career, has only shown like a finite amount of.
That is like no. We're not doing that. Who is far more proven than Andrew Wiggins? Klay.
Yeah, he is. But I'm saying far Wiggins can. What you're asking Klay to get back to in terms of what the Warriors, not what we think his role is, what the Warriors need out of him, because the Warriors look at him as their second best scorer, right? What you're trying to get out of him is, to be honest with you, even though he shows stretches of it for like a month or two, it's just unlikely in terms of consistency for him, especially postseason. I'm not even going to sit here and argue postseason play for him because we all know what kind of player he is come postseason, unfortunately. So like, my whole point is just like banking on Wiggins to me, who's obviously the younger player, I guess who can have more trade value because of his age and what he did in previous years, makes sense like to you guys, but to me, I think keeping him and banking on him getting back to at least where he was defensively as well and being a better cutter and a slasher would make more sense for me versus then like Klay being banked on to be the secondary level scorer who's like consistently averaging 20 then come postseason while also like maintaining that level of play. That's just me.
I agree. I hear you. And I've thought of this, obviously. But I think where I'm thinking is like, who are you going to get more back in return for? You're going to get a lot more back if you trade Wiggins. Bring somebody in that can play alongside, allow Klay to be a spot-up shooter, allow Klay to do allow Steph to do what he does. I think if you have Steph, Klay, and Dre, but you have another star that can be the second scorer, I think that's going to be, and maybe he plays defense as well, and fill that Wiggins role, you're almost back to what we were. I hear you, though, because I just don't know what's going on with Wiggins. We don't know. Like, what if he's injured? What if he has, something underlying they're not telling us. Or maybe he's like, I'm hearing people say he's like just being lazy and not like practicing. Does that sound like Wiggins to you? Like,
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. On the floor, it actually looks like he hasn't been working on his game in the offseason. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm not gonna sit here and like say he hasn't worked at all, but like you can tell when someone's come back into the season and actually worked on things to be better. It just doesn't look like that for Wiggins. I'll be like, he started to regress in things that he just shouldn't regress in. Like his body control for one has just been terrible. Whenever he attacks closeouts or cuts to the basket, any resistance, so like someone pushing him away, him trying to get to the basket, he just can't control his body. The loss of the ball handle as well, like him being able to attack guys off the dribble isn't there as well. His handle's gotten worse. So like, I don't know if it's because him playing in the Warrior system where it's just less dribble touches for him, but it's just even his 3-point shooting has become worse as well, right? Like he just become very hit or miss from 3. Now that could just be a slump. Like the same thing happened with Klay, or always has happened with Klay, and you just get back to where you were, or even with Steph. So like I'm not gonna harp on that too much, but like the handle, the finishing, the free throws, the ability to attack closeouts, the body control, all these things are like regressing for me. Like it's just not looking to where it was even to start the season last year. So that's just an issue in of itself.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on. Let's talk about some of these possible trade venues for Draymond Green, and you guys can tell me if you still think that this is a reality.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is from NBA Central, so take it as you will. But apparently the Dallas Mavericks are considered the front runners to acquire Draymond Green if the Golden State Warriors decide to trade him. Of course, the Lakers, KB, your team, are the second on that list.
You have tweets saying you're gonna watch and cheer for this team. You can't tell me I'm a
But
Lakers
I'm a
fan.
troll. That's what I do.
Oh, you're a troll.
I am.
Chad, listen, I'm the only one serious up here, man. It's crazy.
Oh, the only one that's
crazy. I'm surrounded by trolls, Chad. I'm surrounded by trolls, Chad.
I just want to let people know he hosted a King Space for that Keegan Murray performance yesterday.
No, I did not. That's actually not true. That's actually not true. No.
I don't even blame you at this
Nope. Since KB want to talk some bullshit, let's talk about this shit, right?
Man.
So we made the space. By the way, shout out to the super chat from FIFA and Huncho. FIFA is a known troll, so that's cool. FIFA and lately Huncho's funny.
Luka dad? What?
Yeah, that was good.
FIFA's like a. Yeah, I don't know, but he's a diehard Mavericks fan. So
okay,
word, excited to get into this. Yeah,
respect it. Yeah, but now, so basically, right? So the space I held yesterday. First off, me and KB watched the games to playback. Go tap in there, number one. But number two, once it was done, we did a post game and we talked about the game for ad nauseum length. And then they said, "Oh shoot, Keegan Murray is very close to breaking Klay Thompson's 3-point record." We said, "What?" So we were watching it and talking about it. And I'm like, let's see what happens if he breaks it or not. He didn't break it. That's not me hosting a space specifically for Keegan Murray. That's me hosting a space, addressing the point with the Warriors, and then seeing if another player breaks a Warriors record. Do you agree with that, Haley?
This is what I'm saying.
I guess I can hear you out.
I open my phone, right? I'm on Twitter on the Blue app.
Well, you were in the space. What are you talking about? You were in the space.
Yeah, but you started the
space. You were actually in the space.
You started the space before I got in there. I came in there a bit later.
Listen, Ken, I'll send the link in just a bit.
Such frauds. We like to my city.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
All I see is a space title. Keegan Murray, and you know that little like bracket thing? Like over or greater than? Like greater than sign? It's a Keegan Murray greater than like a bunch of them. Number 11. I was like, damn, this is like an out-of-body experience for Gifted. First of all, he's calling Klay number 11, which he never does.
What is he talking about? This should actually never happen. This should actually never happen. The title of the space never changed not once. He's lying to y'all right now. That's crazy.
Dude, I don't even blame you guys. Watching Warrior games recently have been so difficult. I was literally working yesterday, but it's just been painful to watch them blow leads. Like I posted on Twitter, I was like, I think we're up like 50 some. Or
I saw your post, and he was like, "I'm not saying nothing with the shush emoji." Yeah, I've seen it.
Because there's just you already know, like we know what to expect. And Gifted, what like specifically are you seeing? Is it the rotation? Is it just guys being gassed? Is it Steve Kerr pulling out Kuminga when he's just getting hot? Is it not playing Trace Jackson? Like, what is the reason for these blown leads? Because it's actually getting beyond frustrating.
Yeah, so I've been saying this for like 15 games now, right? Literally every Warriors game you watch, we could be up 18, 20, 15, whatever it is. If you go to the third quarter and you tune in at the 6-minute mark, that is where we fumble. That is where double-digit leads go to single-digit, single possession, or we're even in a deficit by that point in the game. And what I know specifically during that stretch last time is Steph had a lot of moments in that third where he was missing open layups, and the Nets were scoring three-pointers off every Warriors miss. We saw a ton of lineups that featured Dario at the 5 with Wiggins as a power forward, not being physical, with 3-guard lineups. We saw a ton of that. They scored a ton off that, and they were going at Dario relentlessly on defense because there was no other back line to kind of help him out because he's not a good defender at the big position. And that's what led to us going, from being up like 18 points to, oh, shoot, it's like a 6-point game going into the fourth quarter. And what happens every time? It becomes, okay, who's going to out-execute who? What bad calls are going to be called or what won't be called? And then can Steph Curry play off ball or is he going to be on ball in the fourth quarter? It comes down to those three things every time. It's like clockwork, y'all. I'm telling you. The third quarter, when there's 6 minutes left, watch that basketball, and that'll tell you the game. It really will.
Yeah, when that used to be like our quarter, and now it's our kryptonite. And KB, how do you think our defense has been in the second half? Is that contributing to some of these?
I'll be honest with you. Gibson gave a lot of explanation, and I agree with literally 95% of the things he said. I think the 5% is just something that he missed out on, and I don't think I think he just forgot to mention. Stephen Kerr, his adjustments have been absolutely
bad. Yeah, it's been bad.
Like terrible. Like he brought up the Sarge and Wiggins lineup.
Yeah,
which is egregious because one, Wiggins sucks right now. Obviously, like he just has been great. And you continue to play Dario Saric at the 5, which he's not a 5. For those of you wondering, is Dario Saric a center? No, he's not. He's a 4 who can play the 5 sometimes. Yes, he'll give you a good stretch of spaced out small ball offense. But for spurts, you don't go for it. Well, you don't go to it, through an entire quarter. And then says, man, we need some size and athleticism, Gifted. Who should we put out on the floor? Who should we put out, Gifted?
Gee, I don't think we have a big on this team that can actually do that, KB. I actually can't think of not one big man on the bench right now.
Should we just put in Looney?
You know what? Yeah.
That's literally what I swear to you. That's how I think. Like it just happens. Like I'm just like, bro, you have a whole center in Trace Jackson Davis. I understand he's a rookie, but the guy is like 20. He's 20-something years old. By the way, multiple years in college. You signed him to a 4-year deal. That means that you think he's going to be here for a long time. That also means you think he has value. So why would you not put him on the floor with guys who have size, athleticism, speed, agility, and you have Dario Saric on the floor at the 5? I see Mikal Bridges, who barely drives and finishes at the basket, get to the basket and finish over Dario Saric. And I'm just like, you can still play Saric while playing TJD. Does he know that? Like, Sarge can be a spot up. He can play that role. TJD can play off of them. Like, to be able to maximize that front court, you're going to have to play these guys at the same time. But for some reason, Steve Kerr's smooth brain doesn't understand this. So, like, I genuinely don't understand why. Like,
I think Steve, like, actually has bad beef with, I think because Steve played his own career, I think there was a center that just decimated him. And he just has this vendetta against bigs. He refuses to play bigs. Like, I'm tired of this small ball lineup. I know it's something we have to get away from once Steph and Klay are gone. Like, it's something we need to switch up to compete at the level the league is today. And I say start now. Where is Trace? Why is he in the G League? Because I know they recalled him from the G League. Is that where he is? Is he even playing right now? Is he injured?
Well, he'd be on the bench watching. He'd be on the bench watching.
He'd be in that. What is that? The little jumpsuit. He just be chilling. Like,
so he's there, but we refuse to use him.
Yep. And then he'll play him for like a random spurt in the second quarter with CP3 on the floor, and I'm just like, all right, bro. Like, so you don't play him with Sarge on the floor, and you play him with CP3 on the floor along with Draymond Green. Okay, bro. I guess like And then you wonder to yourself, why isn't he being productive? It's because you're putting him in lineups that are terrible. And that's why, like, I sit there and I'm just like, I can't defend Steve. Because, like, even last year, I'm like, bro, he's getting slandered right now. I don't think the adjustments are that bad. I
Yeah.
can't defend him for these adjustments. These are so,
No, you can't.
like, I'm sorry. I've been saying this the past couple of days. It's not, like, it's going to sound hella disrespectful, but I don't care. It can't be that difficult to be an NBA coach. Like, there's no, if I'm watching you make egregious after egregious after egregious decisions, like, there's no way it's that difficult. Like, I'm watching it, I'm like, y'all need another athletic big on the floor. Do we have one? Yes. Let's play him beside Sarge. It makes sense. He can roll to the basket. He's a good connected passer. Sarge can play off of that. If you want Sarge and pick and rolls, you can literally do big men inverted pick and rolls with Sarge as the ball handler if you want. Because Sarge has shown the ability to be solid with the ball in terms of like attacking closeouts. So you can do that too. Sarge is a lot passer. You can do that as well. TJD can roll to the basket. He can find guys in the short roll. Things would work. You would find more ways to actually get offense, get quality looks. But hey, I don't know. Maybe am I better? Am I a better coach than Steve Kerr, guys? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
I think that we like have to give him credit, but I do hear you in the fact that why, like, if anything, to shut up people like talking. I know these dudes are on Twitter. I know for a fact that with the rise of social media and like a lot of the biggest NBA media is actually coming from just creators like us who've never played. Like, I think that just try it out. Just show people like I'm going to give it a shot and see if it works. And I understand Trace is not the magic like answer. It's probably not going to work, but he I'd rather see him get practice and see some, rotations at least attempted to see if they work versus just not even trying until we get to like April and then he's like, "Oh yeah, like maybe I'll play him." Why not start now when we have nothing to lose? At this point in the season, we are garbage. And I say just try everything, but speaking of the young guys, Pods has been incredible. You mentioned him, KB, and well, I don't think he's better than Klay as of right now. He has shown strides of just greatness, and I think what I love about him is his aggressiveness, right? He does play defense, he does play offense, and he is kind of falling into his rhythm of being able to be a 3-point shooter like he was when he was in college. And I think getting a solid 15 to 20 points from him, like that would be just help. I mean, that's why we won the game last night. A great portion of the help was from him.
Yeah.
So Gifted, kind of tell me what you think B-Pod's ceiling could be this season. Is he somebody you want to see, for the Warriors' future? And it seems like Steph's definitely taken a liking to him, kind of taking him under his wing. So is Chris Paul. A lot of the vets really like this guy. So what are your thoughts about him?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I hope B-Podz has a great game tonight. I picked him up in my fantasy league, $250 paid league, so I need him to produce tonight. Please and thank you. But in terms of B-Podz, though, right, what I like about him more than anything else is when he's confident in himself, the way he can impact the game, even if he's not making shots, is there. His rebounding has been great, and his defensive IQ in terms of knowing when to bite, when to read the passing lanes has been very, very good. And the way he's able to like push pace and transition sometimes has also been good. It's just a matter of consistently feeling like he can do that. And I don't really put too much blame on him because, again, as KB said before in the past, he's a younger first-year player, so that's going to take time. But the three-point shooting and how he can attack mismatches sometimes really helps in tandem with Steph. A huge part of our run before Chris Paul came back in the game, which, by the way, Kerr, I don't know what that was, but we're literally going on a run where Steph scores like our last 12 and B-Podz is playing well in that role. And then all of a sudden he brings in Chris Paul. And like
this is why he bring him in. I'll tell you why. Steph goes on his scoring tangent. Obviously, he's cooking in isolation. He hits a crazy three. He said, "Yo, I don't know I forget the coach's name of the Brooklyn Nets again. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
Jacques Vaughn.
He was telling Jacques Vaughn, call timeout, right?
Yeah,
the crowd was going crazy. Chase Center was rocking, he's hooping, right? Comes back in after the timeout. They get a stop or whatever. Steph is trying to get the ball. He just gets balled now. Like they're just sending two at him every time now. Just trying to get the ball out of his hands. And they're like just doubling him. You know, usually what people do when he starts to get cooking. So Steve Kerr says, instead of me going to the other guard, who can also attack a closeout, who can also create off the dribble, and who can also play in the pick and roll while being more of a threat than Chris Paul, let me go sub in Chris Paul who, mind you, at that point had a whopping 2 points, but 11 assists and great leadership. So that's what Steve Kerr saw, and brought him in, and it literally didn't do anything because they bring Chris Paul in. They found another way to get Steph the ball. Chris Paul sat in the corner. So what was the point of you bringing that? Like, that's what I mean. Steve Kerr, you need to realize this isn't 18 Chris Paul. This isn't the Chris Paul that went and almost beat you in 2018. This is I don't even know, recreational Chris Paul. I don't know what to call him, bro. He should retire. Like, Father Time is beating the crap off of him, to say the least. So, like, I don't know, man. It just terrible adjustment, bro. I can't defend Steve. It hurts because I actually think he's a good coach, and it's so frustrating watching him make terrible decisions. I swear.
I
Be
also
like
think
that, Chet.
he's not even like, look at what he has to work with though. I think you have to put that into account, like say, well, he doesn't really have a lot to work with, especially when our two best defenders, because Andrew Wiggins is just in the clouds, is not here, so you want to experiment without putting these young guys in like totally, I don't know how to explain it, but like if you don't play Chris Paul, he's gonna lose motivation. Like there's still egos involved with all these guys too, and like with Wiggins, he said it's too late. We're gonna bench you, and I don't know if you guys thought that was the right person to bench. KB, you might have thought maybe we should bench Klay.
I actually don't.
hell
Between
yeah.
both of them, I
Yeah.
didn't care who came off the bench because
Yeah.
they're both playing terrible. So I'm just like, whoever comes off the bench comes off the bench. But what's annoying is that Klay's putting up these performances trying to justify him starting.
Yeah.
When I think B-Podz has been, in my opinion, more impactful.
But B-Podz and Klay to me is a better tandem to have out there on the court than B-Podz and Wiggins.
Why not B-Podz and Moody? But anyways, like I was saying, bro, I think
mean, I'm good with that.
Look, listen,
we need something off the bench, bro.
Yeah, Klay can do what I told y'all. Klay can do what he needs to do. He can do the same thing that he's doing off the bench. I promise.
So can Moody.
Listen, he can do more. listen. I think I lost my train of thought because I think Haley said something about like Steve Kerr doesn't have a lot to work with. I agree to some degree, but I also disagree.
Yeah.
The reason why I disagree is because the guys who you're saying you don't have a lot to work with, I'm talking about Steve Kerr, not you.
Yeah.
They've shown more signs of life and more positive impact to this team than your starting core. So I can't sit here and be like, oh, you don't have a lot to work with. The roster construction for you for what you're trying to do doesn't work. Well, bro, you're going to have to make an adjustment. That's the whole point of being a coach. Not every roster you're going to have is going to be maximizing what you want to do in terms of your theory of offense. You're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to find different ways to maximize your offense. And no offense, you have some of the pieces that you want. Jonathan Kuminga, a player who can attack a closeout, cut to the basket, play defense, can run DHOs. You give him actual, like, legitimate possessions where he can self-create. He's a solid player. Moses Moody, movement threes, cutting, defense, consistency, and a great guard to be paired with Steph Curry. You obviously have Steph. I'm not going to get into that. B-Podz can play in the pick and roll, can mismatch hunt, can shoot off the catch, off the dribble, attack closeouts, and is a good team defender. So you have TJD. I'm not going to name all his traits, but another great big to play. You have these bigs, and when you play the actual right lineups, because I've seen him play the right lineups, you're torching. I watched early in the season when we were 6-2, riding high, and everything was cool. He played the TJD and Sarge lineup, and we were stomping the Sacramento Kings in the third quarter. Like, it was bad. They couldn't get anything offensively going. We were everywhere. We were pushing the pace. TJD was everywhere. Dario Sarge was finding himself in the pick and roll with CP3. There were still multiple roles and things CP3 can go to other than Sarge. Like, I've seen you play these lineups, and it worked too many times for you to just sit TJD and give him DMPs for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah. But what I want to say though is 100% agree with you on all of that, KB, and that's great. But unfortunately, at this point in time, we're missing Gary Payton, we're missing Draymond, which was a crucial reason we were 6-2. But also compare what all those guys, those fantastic young players that you just listed off. Now let's say put them side by side with the Boston Celtics. Where are we then? We are nothing compared to the Boston Celtics. We are not going to win games. We are not going to win a playoff matchup against them. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, we have a lot to work with as far as like, hopefully our future will be bright and hopefully we can, find some collectiveness between this group. But if you compare them with any of the top, Denver, Boston, even I'd say the Lakers. Like, I think that we are so far behind them and so many steps behind them. We would not be able to compete at a high level, especially with Wiggins barely
Isn't
producing.
I swear to you, one of our benches is like one of the best benches in the league.
It is. It
When
is.
we play these high level teams,
What
our
about our
benches are
starters though? That's
yeah. That
that's how you win games. You play about a 7-man rotation when you're playing a playoff
no,
matchup,
that's
right?
100%. I agree with
Yeah, yeah.
that. But the thing is, you have guys on this team who can legitimately still give you playoff minutes, even like come postseason
Yes.
time. I think Kuminga can give you
Facts,
postseason
facts.
minutes. I think Moody can. I think B-Podz, depending on the matchup, can also give
Both
you
you play
minutes as
him.
well.
That's the thing. It's like, yes,
No,
we know they can. He won't
not
do
for
it.
sure. I understand the whole Steve Kerr like playing younger guys. I understand that, but in terms of like his mindset, what he has to do, you're going to have to play these guys, even though there's more veteran tenure, better role players on these contending teams. You still have younger like I'm glad you bring up the Denver Nuggets. Christian Brown. I'm pretty sure last year was like one of his earlier seasons. Was he a rookie last
He was
year?
a
I don't know.
rookie. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a
he's a
rookie.
first
He's
year
a
player.
guy who
Yeah,
came into the NBA, a
Yeah.
4-year college player, 3 years. So he has a lot of like experience just playing high level basketball somewhere else. He came in, he did his job. Mike Malone put him in situations to be maximized. He was a very vital piece. Steve Kerr in 2014-15 decided to start playing Draymond Green at the 4, who was in his 3rd year. He's seen potential, he's seen what to do to maximize him, and look where he is now. You have done this before with other younger players. You did it with Jordan Poole in his 3rd year, making him start being even though Klay was out, giving him the role that he needed to be and him flourishing as a player. So
Yeah.
you can understand and recognize when to maximize guys. I don't see and understand how you don't see for someone like TJD, another veteran college player, B-Podz, another veteran college player, Kuminga in his 3rd year, Moses Moody, I think in his 2nd or 3rd year. So, and all 4 of these guys that I'm naming have been clear indications of positive impact, majority of them, no matter what lineup they've been in. So I understand the comparison between other benches and other veteran guys, but if your bench is continuously cooking every single outscoring, playing better defense in every single team, and some of these guys are just showing more than some of the starters at the moment, then give them the bigger roles to maximize them and wait for your starters to get back to where they need to be. Then you'll have a better understanding of lineups, better understanding of what to use on the bench, better maximization of certain guys. Your lineups will be a lot better and you'll look more of life. Yes, there's still problems that we need to address that you don't have on this team, but at the same time, you can still address some of these problems with temporary solutions. And as a coach, he has not done that at all, in my opinion.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It just will not happen. We have to talk, and we can talk fan fiction all we want, but we have to talk reality too. And if you were the coach, KB, I think you would have done that months ago. But Steve is not going to do that. And like I said, it's because you have to balance egos with rookies, and it's a really weird balance. I don't think being a coach is as easy as it seems. I think it could be easier. I think you just got, like you said, pull the trigger, just do it. But I just think we have to be realistic. Steve is not going to start Pods, Moses Moody, JK, Steph, and Sarge in a lineup. He's just not going to do that unless people are injured and actually out.
I just want to say, Haley, I get your point entirely, but there's no excuse why he can't at least get 5 minutes a night. I'm not asking for 10 or 20. I'm just saying, how do you know what your young guys are if they're literally getting DNPs?
I
Not
agree
getting
with
any
you,
minutes
but he
is
won't do it.
crazy.
He won't do it.
I mean, that's a bad coach then. If you're not going to do it, I mean, that's fine. But if you're telling me that Trace Jackson Jr. cannot get 5 minutes a game with Draymond and GP2 out, not playing, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that.
But you're bringing up the injuries, like I understand that matters, but that's more of a reason to actually.
That's more of a reason.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, realistically, Steve is not going to. If you're talking about like a consistent rookie, rookies coming off the bench and starting for Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, it's not going to happen unless people are actually injured and cannot play. I think that they could sub in earlier, but it's just not going to happen.
See, that's the thing. I understand what you're saying. I think you agree with what we're saying.
Yeah, I do.
You're just saying that Steve Kerr doesn't do that. I'm talking about from the perspective of me just talking like to Steve, for example.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's just bad decision making. That's bad coaching. Like that's just not something that's inexcusable. You lose your best POA in GP2. You lose your best defender in Draymond Green. You have more athleticism off the bench you can play and you just don't play him. That is a bad decision. If you can't figure out what lineup he's supposed to be in, throw him in some lineup, see what he does.
Yeah.
See what his traits are, and then go from there. You're acting like you trialing an error now. I wouldn't be mad at you doing that.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I understand that you need wins, but you don't have guys right now, bro. Like, you're gonna
Oh,
have to put these guys.
KB. I'll give you another example of what makes me mad the most. Right? It's not like he actually played Trace in the fourth quarter after like multiple games of not playing at all with Chris Paul, and he looked good. And then after showing that in a close game that wasn't a blowout, like he actually played him in a game that was in 10 points and he played well. How do you then see that performance and say, you know what? Don't play again?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
I have no idea
Exactly.
either. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea.
And I think it was Sebastian that mentioned in the chat where he was like, Wiseman, like we had a top 3 pick and we didn't play him. And so what makes you think that we're going to play Trace Jackson now? And I'm telling you, it's this vendetta that Steve Kerr has against centers.
I don't know what like flipped for him though. Like I don't know when he became a guy to where he just like was the if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm really stubborn. Because when he first came, he was innovative.
He was super duper creative. Yeah.
He didn't mind going to things that just made people feel uncomfortable. And that's one thing, that's another thing you're gonna have to do. I understand ego's a thing in this thing. I said things so many times. I understand that ego is a thing in the locker room and whatever that means. You as a head coach, you have to like be understanding, sympathetic. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to be like, bro, you're not giving me the things I need for us to be able to get these wins. I understand you want to play, you want to have impact. Let's find you another way for you to impact this lineup. But I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut your minutes short. As a coach, you're just gonna have to do those things. Right. Even if they get mad, even if they lose motivation, you can't control these things. If you want them to play more, if you want them to play more, then hey, I need you to work on X, Y, and Z. Hey, Wiggins, you've been really bad for us. I'm gonna let Kuminga start. I need you to work on attacking closeouts. I need you in practice to finish off making a certain amount of free throws. I need you to get back to where you were in terms of a shooter and a defender. I need you to go harder. If you want these minutes back, this is what you need to do. Until then, Kuminga starting. That's it. That's all you do. If they don't do that, then they don't do that. If they do that, then great. Hey, Klay, I need you to get back. I need you to be able to work on these things over the summer. I need you to find a way to create for yourself off the dribble. I need you to play in the pick and roll. If not, I'm going to let B-Podz take your minutes. If you don't, that's what you have to do. That's what it comes down to being a coach. I'm sorry if you have relationships and things of that nature with players, and I get that. But you're just going to have to make those decisions. Because if you don't, and you keep letting egos and loyalty get in the way, that's just going to blind you from what you want to do, which is contend for a title. So, like, that's Steve Kerr's issue right now, is that he's too, like, his patience was there, and then now his patience is gone, but you're still not making the clear-cut, proper decisions. And I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's frustrating. We talk about this every week. It's like a broken record, and I don't even know where we go from here.
No, we do. We talk about it every week, I swear.
Yeah.
Real quick, Haley, sidebar. There was someone in the chat who threw out a trade suggestion. Their name is Curry Stan. They added me in the chat. Pods, Moody, Guy Santos 2 first, and CP3 for Pascal Siakam. Raptors say no, because Masai doesn't want to do business realistically, and it's fine with letting Pascal walk because he let Fred VanVleet walk, and it was obvious he should have traded Fred.
Fred is terrible, so.
Well, yeah, but he actually could have traded him for like multiple picks, and he chose not.
The worst one is he let KD not go up to his team because it has Scotty Barnes. That was pretty bad.
That was the
That's terrible.
I'm saying no.
You better hope Scotty Barnes at one point becomes like the second or third best player in the world.
I mean, Scotty been hooping this year, but definitely not no KD.
It's still not done. It's still not justifiable. I'm sorry, man. Masai is so stingy, bro. Crazy. I don't understand him, bro.
Yeah, he must be a Raptors fan because he just wants those guys, but no way.
That's what happened, bro. Loyalty will blind you sometime, bro.
Okay, so I want to go around, and then we'll get into a few other things, but I want to go around. Gifted, we'll start with you.
Sure.
I want to talk realistically. There is a lot of rumors about trades, this and that, but start with, do you think a trade will happen by the trade deadline? And if so, who do you think's going first? Who do you think is going to be traded first?
Oh man, so this is do I think versus what I want. Okay. Realistically, I think the Warriors have acknowledged that change has to happen, but I think the guys going out for that change are not going to be the guys people think of. I think the move for Chris Paul, while they dressed it up as a win now veteran player move, I think it was a move made out of necessity because holding on to Jordan Poole's contract would have handicapped this team for several years to come and would not have been able to get better. I think they will be shopping Chris Paul with some of the younger guys for draft capital. I think Pods is a guy they probably don't want to trade. They might want to see where that goes. I think Kuminga might be on the block with Chris Paul. I don't think they're going to trade Klay Thompson. I really don't. I think that they plan to keep him on this roster with Draymond, with Steph, let Klay Thompson write off the last year of his contract and see exactly where that goes. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not sure what the trade avenue is going to look like because right now it has been reported that they're looking into Lauri Markkanen, which, by the way, I deserve my flowers because I brought up the Lauri shit weeks before the entire league was like, let's see if Lauri's available. And people kept telling me, he's their franchise player, gifted. Lauri Markkanen is their franchise player.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
and now he's on the block.
The people who kept saying stuff like Lauri's a part of their young... Bro, he doesn't fit the timeline of what they want to do. It just doesn't make sense. And he's playing at a level to where a contending team would want that. And if a contending team also has assets that they're not going to use because they're contending, they would obviously offer you those assets, which you want, because you're a rebuilding franchise. So it just doesn't make sense to me to keep a player that doesn't fit your timeline and is also can be a situation where it's like Damon. Wow, you just let a player walk and force his way out. You don't get the things that you want as well. So you just don't want that. But give the continue. My bad.
Yeah. I forgot the other part of the question, Haley.
So no, you answered it. I was gonna say, do you think it'll happen before the trade deadline, like by the end of the season? And who would it be? So
yes, I think a trade does happen. I do kind of believe that Chris Paul will wind up being traded because if you're looking at trade capital to actually move any type of needle, we know that it's going to take salary. And the only other option is Klay. And I just don't believe that the Warriors are going to believe in trading Klay. I don't think they're going to view that as a needle moving thing for their franchise. And I think they'd rather see Klay walk than trade him for just some bullshit that's not going to take you anywhere. I think that Kuminga is potentially going to be the one that's on the block. Paz has actually seen more consistent minutes than him, by the way. And I think that type of stuff matters when you're thinking about who's going to stay and who's going to leave. So,
okay.
We'll see, though.
Yeah. All right, KB, how about you?
Do I think is there going to be a trade by the trade deadline? Damn. I hope so. I think to get to this point, I think the first person to look at in this is CP3. How can we package this expiring deal along with draft capital that we have left, a couple young guys, to see if we can go get a win now caliber player? The one thing I'll say is that if we are going to look for Lauri, there's still a thing. I think we're still above the second apron, so we have to match salary. So if we're trading CP along with like Kuminga or something, and then for like a couple draft picks or whatever for Lauri, we still need like contract fillers. We still need like, if we could get like Kelly Olynyk too with that, that'd be kind of crazy. But that's also kind of redundant because we already have Dario Saric. A guy like THT would be cool, but I don't know how he would be on this team, honestly. I haven't really watched him too much. Some people have been telling me he's been terrible, so I don't know if I want to trade for that. Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird situation for the Warriors because of how much money they owe to the league and where they are in terms of the tax bracket because they're above that second apron. So anything that they're trying to trade, whether it be for Levine, Lauri, Pascal Siakam, they're just going to have to make sure they're matching salaries for everything. So that's one thing. Another is that, speaking about like who you want traded and things like that, I think CP3 is the first to come to mind. Obviously, older player, expiring deal last year. You don't want to let him walk and just write him off the books. You want to find something of value to be able to continue and contend. Another player that comes to mind, even though people are saying like to give this point that it's going to be harder to find guys for Klay. If someone like Klay continues to put on this stretch leading to the deadline, I think it's going to be hard, but I don't think it's going to be as hard as some people think because people still fall into the propaganda of him being a fine player in this league. And I think you might be able to finagle your way into finding some guys. You feel me? Another player to look at, Wiggins. If you think, I don't really think you really need to trade him. I think you actually lose a lot in terms of what this team really needs, depending on who you trade him for. Now, if you trade him for Siakam, that's definitely an upgrade. But I'd rather see somehow, some way. Actually, nah, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna wait until Wiggins gets back to where he is offensively. Um, who else? Kuminga. I don't want him on the trading block. I really think that I think Kuminga can be like a very vital player for us, like a very, very vital player for us. And he brings so much athleticism, the cutting, the finishing, the ability. Like he's one of the few guys on this team that just gives us a legitimate rim pressure. And you don't get that a lot, like with this team. And I feel like if you're going to give that up, you need to find someone who also brings that in terms of
Yeah.
athleticism, rim finishing, cutting, playing within the system. And that's another thing when you're trading for these guys, you have to realize that once you're trading for them and they're on this team, they're going to have to learn how to play with us as well. And there's going to be growing pains. A lot of the guys that you're trading either have already been with us or just understand the system already.
I'm going to be honest with you, KB. I got a question for you real quick with this too, though, because there's something we haven't addressed in all of these episodes. I think this is Kerr's last year.
Agreed.
And if it's Kerr's last year, can't you argue that they might modify the system and make adjustments since Kerr's not going to be the one who's running the ship anymore?
This is last year of his deal. They're still going to discuss his contract. I don't.
No. I get that, but like I'm saying, for me at least, I think he's done coaching. I think his last run is going to be this year, and then the run in the 2024 Open World Olympics. I think that's going to be his last
grand finale.
You're right. I think this is his last year as a coach for the Warriors. I don't think he comes back. And I'm just saying, if he doesn't come back, I think the rigidness of changes and adjustments to the system to like do these other things that we're talking about, I think that's back on the table, right?
A possibility, yes. For me, I don't think he's done coaching.
Okay.
I think he'll be done coaching by the time Steph is done. He's shown the ability to I thought he'd be over early too, like especially after like the Warriors like whole run. I thought he'd just be like, yeah, I'm gone. Like I did my job, I'm out. But he's shown that he wants to like stay. He wants to be able to coach these guys, even though he doesn't do his job properly. Yeah. So I think he'll stay. But in terms of the guys to trade, all I'm saying is I agree. If you're going to trade these guys, you need to find something of value. But as for us as well, like we can't be stingy. Like if they offer us, bro, we'll give you Siakam, but we want Wiggins, Kuminga, and a couple picks, I may consider that. Because I'll be honest with you, like if you really want to contend, you need like desperately, you need athleticism, rim pressure. Like obviously, like a big would help, but you need to find like those caliber of players, and you just don't have that on your team right now. So being stingy just not something that you have to be open, you have to be creative, and I think that they will make a trade at the trade deadline. I'm hoping that is for Lauri Markkanen in return for Lauri Markkanen for CP3 and a couple draft picks and a few young guys. So I hope.
Yeah, I like that. That I've warmed up to the idea at least over time. I haven't really liked a lot of the other ones that have been on the table. So I mean,
Zach LaVine, come home.
No, no. But as like, let's just think in the future that is a possibility. Gifted that Steve steps down. Is there a coach in the league that you think could come in and be a bit more big focused and play centers and do a good job and kind of dealing with the vets that we will still have on our team? I mean, Draymond will be there unless something crazy happens. Steph is still Steph. But we do need change. I'm tired of small ball lineups being the core of what works. I mean, it's worked in the past. I don't think it's going to work in the future. So is there any names that come to mind that aren't in like a long-term deal?
I think the tough part with names for me, at least, is I generally believe that if this is Kerr's last season, the coach is going to come from the bench. And I think the guy to look at would probably be Kenny Atkinson, because he could have had a job for a whole other team. Instead, he chose to be another assistant for another year. I think he'll probably be the one who winds up ultimately picking up the reins if Kerr leaves.
I have a theory.
I
I have a
go
theory.
go KP.
Sure.
I am of the belief that I'm of the belief that Steve will stay.
Mhm.
But to continue with this theory that he might be done, I think Kenny. I agree. I think Kenny would be the next man up because I'll be honest with you. Even though people have copied our system, our motion style offense, what we've done, the split actions, all of our plays. People know them, but it's so repetitive. People understand what we play, and we still, even to this day, when people know our offense, we still get quality looks out of them, which is hilarious to me. Um, I think if Kenny were to take his job, I think he'll do better. I think
Do you
Kenny
think
has
you
been
actually make like actual
the
changes?
correct,
Right.
yes. I think
Yeah.
Kenny would actually be the guy to continue what Steve Kerr has started and implemented, and obviously we're grateful and we'll cherish that. But I think he'll actually add some more tweaks to make him more modern. Things like playing a legitimate big, because the league now is just like you have to like you need players to do more. Yes, you're a wing that plays 3 and D, but can you also cut? Do you know? Can you play? Can you set a screen? Like, can you make a short roll pass? Like, you're gonna be asked to do more, and I think Kenny will bring more out from those guys than Steve Kerr. Low key.
I think Kenny's a fantastic coach, and I wouldn't be opposed to it, obviously. But I think if that were the case, wouldn't we have seen some of those adjustments already made? Don't you think we'd see some of his impact seen in this season?
I feel you on that, right? That's what I was
Unless Steve
thinking.
just trumps.
Exactly.
But
That's my point. I think what Steve has been doing is that it's weird. I feel like Steve had just flipped. And this is what my change was.
Mhm.
After he went back to back, the season in 19 where he got injured, I think he was thinking to himself like a lot of these things I was doing was still working, but he wasn't like nothing was going into his head that like the secondary shot creation, like those indicators were there, but it just wasn't there for him. And so I think he just continuously has gone back to this over and over and just relied on his players to play out of body experiences. And he's gotten that in 22. So I feel like the 22 like run stamped it for like this is not broken. We don't need to go back to anything else. Let's continue to do this. I low key think Kenny's been like, let's because I see him talking on the bench with like Steve Kerr, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, we might need to play some of these guys, and Steve Kerr would just look at him like this, like, bro, this guy's tripping, like like I don't know what he's talking about. So I think Steve's been a little stubborn.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, he's been in the league forever. Like this,
Exactly.
he knows both sides. So I get that you don't want to step on toes, but also I don't know about that. I don't know. Oaktown, do you think Jeremy Grant would be a trade target? What do you guys
No.
think?
I seen that contract.
What?
Fuck no.
Oh yeah.
Excuse
You're
my-
right. You're
excuse
right.
my language. That
I don't think his contract's that bad though.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
30
I want-
million in like the next 2 or 3 years with the cap going up. That's not going to be as bad of a contract in the future.
If it was another player,
was more.
Jeremy Grant, no, I'm okay.
Don't sleep on Jeremy Grant.
He was a killer last year.
Here comes the Portland fan.
No.
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Those are my guys, but no, you know who also really like is Brogdon. I think Brogdon is. I really want to.
cool.
I know
Brogdon's
we
cool
don't
for sure.
really need him. We really don't need
No,
another
we
guard.
actually could use him. I'd rather have him than CP.
Yeah, but exactly. That's what I thought when
the
Boston
initial trade happened and they had
Yes.
Robert and Malcolm, I'm like, yo, guys, you guys need to go get them.
That's
I'm
what I
not gonna lie.
thought. I thought we were gonna get Rob Williams, but then I'm glad we didn't, obviously, because he is. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
I don't think
Him
he'd
and
be
Beal,
injured
too.
with us though. That's the thing. I don't think he'd be injured with us. I don't know.
We'd play him, right? Maybe I don't
We
know.
have a really good health team, guys. A lot
You're
of the
right,
guys that
because
we
he'd
get
be on
that
the
are
bench
injury
all the
prone.
time.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Speaking of injuries, you guys saw Bradley Beal got injured again. I think it's an ankle injury. Thoughts on that? Like, this Suns team is just struggling to keep their 3 stars healthy. I mean, a lot of injuries have been going around. But do you think that is something we're even going to see them get enough play time together before the playoffs to be somewhat cohesive?
Um,
And Ken, I'm going to
man.
send the link right now, Ken.
This is yeah, I don't even know. I think Katie this season's been great. Devin Booker this season has been phenomenal as well. Like they've been playing
Has
great.
he?
I think he's been playing really good. He stepped up to the role of being a point guard. And
Oh yeah,
he's been doing,
Devin.
like, he's been doing a really good job at it. For what like the responsibilities are. There's still problems that need to be addressed in his own right, but
Yeah.
we can talk about that on a different day. In terms of like the starting lineup in the big three, this is what came with it. Like we already knew going into like finding Bradley Beal instead of like going out and getting the right guys who got Bradley Beal. Like yeah, you found like a quote unquote star, but he's been injury prone. The lower half of his body has been cooked for a long time.
I feel so
And
bad for Bradley Beal, bro.
yeah,
I
like
know.
Yeah.
in the short spurts that I've seen all of them together, it's looked like pretty solid basketball. And I still
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that if they're all healthy and they actually do get the like the run time to be able to play together, this is a very dangerous team. Like we see with the Clippers right now. James Harden got traded. In my head, I thought immediately like in terms of like theory, like I think James Harden's a great table setter. He'll find quality looks in the half court. This team's half court offense will be crazy. The first couple of games they started losing, and everyone was slandering him. Even myself, I was like, damn, like is James just regressing? And they're on a 7-game win streak right now. Offenses look amazing. Defensively, they actually look pretty
Who?
sound.
Lakers?
The Clippers.
Oh, I'm not bought into them.
And Kawhi's back. So like I'm looking at this and I'm like James has been great. PG has been fine. Kawhi's back. This team has looked pretty good so far. So like I'm just waiting for them to actually just get reps. But I don't want it to be a season where it's like Brooklyn and they only play one game together and then they have to go into the postseason trying to figuring it out on the
Yeah.
fly with Frank Vogel, who's not like a crazy offensive coach like that.
Yeah.
The other problem is their defense. Their defense is atrocious. Like I don't, and that's just that.
Frank Vogel fault. That's Frank Vogel fault.
Nah, it's more of a piece fault, bro. You guys have no
Nah,
pieces
because
defensively. I'll be honest.
I feel like there's adjustments he can make in our drop defense to like help Nurkic out. I feel like Nurkic should be able to hedge more in our defensive scheme. We don't do a lot of hedging. We don't do a lot of trapping, pick and rolls. Like, I feel like stuff we could do. We could try and see if it works because Frank Vogel he don't make a lot of adjustments to our defense so far. What I've seen. But we'll see. We'll see. It's still a long season. Still have a lot to go. We'll see what Frank
Mhm.
Vogel does. Obviously, we need to get healthy. Obviously, I feel like we've been in a lot of these games. We have control of a lot of these games, but the problem been closing out the games. Like it's been either Booker or KD struggling in the fourth quarter to close out the games. I don't know if that has to do with fatigue. I don't know what it has to do with they're just struggling, the defensive scheme. Because like what I noticed about the Suns is in the first 3 quarters, the first half, they'll play good basketball. They'll move the ball. They'll cut off the ball. They'll they'll play good defense. They'll rebound the ball good. And then for some reason, the fourth quarter, they'll have a breakdown where they're not moving the ball. The offense is stagnant. It's isolation basketball where it's KD turn or Devin Booker turn, and then they're just not trusting their teammate. What I notice is it's just a new roster, so they're still trying to figure out where guys need to be. They're still trying to figure out what guys' roles are, and then also guys' roles is changing every game because of the health, bro. So that's why I'm worried right now because this is giving me Brooklyn 2.0 vibes, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is giving me Brooklyn vibes, bro. Where when KD was out of the lineup and it was Harden and Kyrie, and it was just the role players' roles were changing every game, and then they didn't have no continuity going to the postseason.
Yep.
So it's just it feels like Brooklyn, bro. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe they might prove me wrong and they might get healthy. But for right now, bro, it feels like Brooklyn. I think my man's KD, he just cursed, bro, when it comes to super teams, bro. Because for some reason, every time he gets a super team or gets 3 superstars, ever since Golden State, bro, it's been this player's out, this other player's out, or KD
Yep.
himself gets hurt. Like
Yeah.
it's just frustrating, bro. It's frustrating to see.
There's a solution to this. Tell Kevin Wayne to come home. Anyways, listen.
Tell Kevin Wayne to go.
Listen. I think I agree with mostly what Ken said. I think reps is needed. I just don't think you guys have the right defensive pieces to be able to run the schemes that Frank Vogel wants. I seen Frank Vogel with a good, solid defense and what he was able to do with them, even in 21. In terms of like the Lakers and stuff, or even Indiana, like he's been able to run really good defenses when he has the correct
KB, can I
guys.
ask you a question?
What's
Do you
up, man?
think Frank
Yeah, go ahead.
Vogel had any impact on the Lakers' offense in that bubble run? Because personally, I think he didn't. He didn't have no impact. I think it was just the brains of
He
no,
has
no.
slight
I
impact.
listen.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna tell you who was running that Lakers off. It was Braun. You have Rondo, and then AD played out of his mind. That's what helped
Most
the
like
Lakers win
Rondo.
that.
This is crazy.
That's what ran the Lakers offense in that bubble run. I don't think Frank
Nah,
Vogel
that's
had
fine.
nothing to
I
do
think
with
Frank Vogel's
offense.
a defensive-minded coach as well. Having someone like LeBron James, like you, as a head coach, you don't got to do much. Like LeBron might just tell you like what you need to do to make the adjustment, and you'll make the adjustment for
We're
him.
seeing that now
But
with
like,
Darvin Ham. Like,
no, like that's what I'm saying. Like you'll
yeah.
see these adjustments being made where LeBron is like coaching that coaches
But
and
that's
telling
the
them what
thing.
adjustment.
KD and Booker,
That's LeBron.
they're
That's
not that
LeBron
great
James though.
of
When I seen
offensive
him,
players to say, all right, they could run your offense and you don't have to run no. They need
That's
plays
fine.
because
That's
you
fine.
see
That's
what's
not my point
happening
though.
now. The offense becomes stagnant and is
I
isolated
understand
basketball.
that, but that's the I agree. I think Frank Vogel needs to find more sets to get these guys involved properly. Because when I watch the games as well too, I'm seeing games where Devin Booker's handling the ball and they have KD spotted up somewhere. I even seen it last year with Monty Williams as well. So this has just been an ongoing issue, and I think they're just continuing to implement what Monty did last year in terms of some like sets and the continuity and things of that nature. But they need to find more innovation in terms of like finding more sets for KD, getting him to his spots, and being able to actually maximize him as a player. I think offensively y'all will be fine. I think y'all shown like life in terms of like offensive capability against like a lot of teams. But defensively, just a big, huge question mark because Devin Booker's not the defender that you think he is. KD's obviously solid in terms of like what he can do for a defensive team if he's maximized, but he's not. Yusuf Nurkic is a terrible big defender. Who else? Who else was on his team? Eric Gordon, slow footed. Grayson Allen, his defense gets a little overrated. I even said that in Milwaukee as well. I'm forgetting one of your actual better POA defenders right now who hasn't.
Josh Okogie,
Josh
he's
Okogie.
hurt right now.
Josh Okogie's cool. Nasir Little is cool, but that's pretty much about it in terms of like wings and bigger guys.
But that's the thing though. Our best defenders, they're not versatile offense, so that's why Frank can't play them, especially now with Bradley Beal out. Maybe when Bradley Beal comes back, maybe he'll be able to play Josh Okogie in the big three lineups. But for right now, he can't because it will ruin our spacing because Nurkic is not that much of an offensive threat where you could play him alongside Josh Okogie. So it ruins the space for KD and Book. So then they could help off the guys like Josh Okogie. And then if Nasir Little is not hitting his shots offensively, then he's not really much use because he's not that great of a defender where he's saying his defense is overriding his lack of offensive play. So that's the problem right now. We not because of our health, we have to play these lineups where there's not much spacing on the floor, which also I feel like that causes our isolation basketball on the fourth because Frank Vogel goes to these two non-spacer lineups with alongside KD and Book in the fourth quarter. And then that's when our offense becomes stagnant because KD and Book is not trusting the pass because those guys just not capable of knocking down shots. So
Nah, I feel you on that. I just think y'all have been a team that just like is your team is meant to just maximize only offense. I think when y'all actually get reps offensively, y'all's offense is going to be lethal in my opinion because you have guys who like have the ability to attack mismatches, can play in isolation, can play in motion as well. You just have to maximize that. I think defensively y'all are cooked. There's not really a lot y'all can do on that end. I think there's some minor tweaks that you can maybe make for like temporary solutions, but against certain teams, it's just going to be offense versus offense. Especially like if you guys play the Clippers, for example, or like playing the Denver Nuggets, you're just going to have to rely on your offense being able to beat theirs. I'll be honest with you. So,
Ken, before we move on, what do you think the Suns' ceiling is this season? Being realistic,
realistically, wait, what I want or just
realistically, what's actually going to happen versus
all right,
what you want
so,
to happen?
so I'm all right. So what's actually gonna happen? Most likely is gonna be the same thing last year. KD Booker gonna go bonkers in the playoffs, and if Bradley's be gonna probably go most likely go. Our big three is gonna go crazy, but I don't think our role player is gonna step up. We're not gonna have enough help for us to make a deep postseason run. Now, what I want everybody to step up. I want Frank Vogel to make adjustments. I want everybody to play their role and play their part. And we make a deep postseason run and hopefully go to the finals. Even if we lose it, I still hope we go to the finals and just lose to a better team like Boston or Milwaukee. And then we win it the next year. But it is what it is. We're probably going to be a second round exit again. And then people are going to say, oh, man, what happened to your man's KD? He choked again, bro. Another super team failed.
Yeah,
man.
I agree. I think you guys are a second round exit at best. No offense, but I don't think the Warriors are even making the playoffs. So I'm being as harsh with the Dubs as I am with the Suns.
is my mic still bad?
No, you're good.
Now you're good now. You're good now, KB.
It's been good most of the pod. But yeah, appreciate you, Ken. Good luck to you
Yeah,
guys
thank you.
over this next week. Hopefully,
Good luck, man.
hopefully, yeah, you guys can get healthy too. I know it's been rough the last few weeks. Okay, so the chat is kind of asking this question, and for me, this has been kind of a like, ooh, I don't even want to touch this question, but I think we need to. Looney. What's the deal with Looney? People are saying he's added 20 pounds over the off season. He really has not been productive this season at all. Is Looney unmovable at this point in time, KB or Gifted, or do you think that that's a conversation we do need to have?
Well, Looney's not making that much money. I think his streak of playing so many games has to weigh on him at some point physically. The entire season, he's looked kind of out of shape to me in spots. He still fundamentally understands like what our offense is, but he's not a play finisher, and we've known that for some years now. I've always said that he gives us such a big advantage in terms of the rebounding stuff. Again, in the playoffs, one of the best rebounding performances we've ever seen for an entire run during the championship run. A huge part of that, but offensively, he has his flaws, and defensively, as good as he can be in space against guys like Anthony Davis and other skilled bigs, he doesn't really give you that much, and he's another non-spacer that hurts the offense in some way. So it's a bit tough. I think that we need to get a legitimate lob threat in that lineup to where even if they can't shoot, they can play finish, and having that with Steph can make the offense better. But if it comes at the expense of Looney, that is kind of rough because, again, he's not making that much money. I'm pretty sure he took a extremely cheap deal, maybe $8 million to $10 million. So it depends on what you're able to get back. I'm not even sure what the market is for Looney. I haven't really thought about this until now, to be honest.
Is he a backup big on another team, or is he even something that maybe like the Pistons, Hornets would even want to acquire?
Jesus Christ, the Pistons adding another big would be so bad for my mental health. I'm just saying, like,
dude. That type of team is that something?
Who do they have? Sorry,
they have Duren, Wiseman, and Bagley.
Is Stewart a 4 or 5?
No, he's a 4. He's a 4.
So they have Duren, Wiseman, and Marvin Bagley, right? That's
just too many bigs, dog. Yeah.
Adding Kevon Looney to that would just one. I feel bad for Looney. I think Looney's definitely been out of shape this season. The play finishing today, to me, this season has just been looking terrible. Like, he's always never been like a great play finisher because he was just like, he didn't have a great leaping ability. But like, as a player, you just have to, I don't know, it's weird. I feel like if you don't have certain things, you have to find a counter for it. Like, I seen B-Podz, for example, he is not the quickest guard, but he uses his size and ability to get to the basket while like shielding with his he's 6'5", bigger than a lot of guards that he's being guarded by. So he uses his size for that. Yes, Kevon Looney, you are not a great vertical leaper. We understand that. From an athletic standpoint, you can't get up with the best of them, right? But as a player, you need to find something like a baby hook, something that you can go to that would allow you to get better in terms of your paint touches. Add a floater, add something. You have to, when you're going out of these short rolls, you should be able to catch, dribble once, go into a little running hook, something. I don't know. That's my thing. It's one thing if you can't do something, and it's another if you can't do something and you're not adjusting to be able to fix it. And I don't think Looney's been doing that. He's been getting away with playing some, no offense, I'm not going to lie to you, from an offensive perspective, very bad basketball because of the lineups that he's been playing with. And I still think Looney's a great short roll passer. I think he's a very good screen setter. I still think he just needs to be better at rolling to the basket and being able to actually finish for himself as well. And defensively, he has not looked the same at all. Like, before, Looney used to be a guy to be able to get switches out and being able to guard some guards, not crazy good, but he can stay in front of a couple of guards. Now he's just switching out and just hip checking so that he forces them to the help, or if they try to go the other way, he'll hip bump them and just foul them. He just has been moving his feet. He just looked terrible, bro. And I don't think there's a market for him neither, because in terms of big men in the NBA for teams, bro, Gifted, you're not gonna like this, but low-key, he's I love Loon, but he's low-key bottom tier. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he shows you some good things, but again, I just think at this stage of his career, it makes more sense as a backup big, and I just don't think there's a big market for that.
No, even look, let's just think about it. Think about other teams' backups bigs. Who do you think is actually better? Who do you think is better than Loon? Who do you think is worse than Loon? Honestly,
I think the backup big for the Knicks is a very good big. How am I forgetting his name? Really good big.
Hardenstein?
Yes. Hardenstein gives you a lot of versatility. He's more mobile, can get in space, can shoot a little bit, can play finish a little bit.
But you're just not getting that. I'll be honest with you. You're not getting Hardenstein.
We're not. No. I'm not saying we're getting Hardenstein. I'm just naming a big that I think would be better than Looney.
He's better than Loon.
Yeah,
Jackson Hayes, better or worse than Loon?
More athletic, but I'm not gonna lie, he don't move me like that. To be real,
I'll be honest with you. If Jackson Hayes in this Warrior system would be,
he could make sense hypothetically.
I think he'd be better than Loon. Just because of the athletic part. Like you need that. That's the most important part for a big man.
Right.
Loon doesn't bring that. Loon brings a lot of like different skill set, but he just doesn't bring that. And I think Jackson Hayes can learn that skill set with us. I think he'd be better for us as well. No, this is not any disrespect to Loon. I
Not
love
right.
Loon guy.
Yeah.
But like he just not like that caliber of big that we need, especially at the starting lineup. Like bench is cool. I'm trying to think of another. The Clippers backup big. They don't really have one.
The Mavericks.
The Mavericks backup big. Derek Lively's a better big than Loon, but like
oh, for sure. But I'm saying as a backup big.
How would he be for them as a backup big?
Yeah.
Bad.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Loon fits into the Mavs system. I don't think he
the
could
Kings
keep
have JaVale McGee, and that's just low-key a mid-off, so I'm not even gonna get into
I
that.
take JaVale.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I was
now,
gonna
though.
say that, but I don't know.
No. I love Loon so much. And
Houston. Who's Houston's backup big?
Jabari as a PF. They have Şengün at the 5.
Who's their backup though?
I'm thinking of their backup right now. Off the top of my head, I'm not quite sure.
I'll be honest with you. How would y'all feel about Bismack Biyombo?
No, he's not better than Looney. I'm not going that far.
Yeah, he's kind of mid.
Who's
I like
better,
him, but
Looney or Jonas Valanciunas?
Jonas Valanciunas is better than Looney.
Val's actually he's
better rebounder. He's been good this year too, by the way. He's been really good this year.
Okay.
Wait, they don't have a backup center.
Who's better, Zach Collins or Loon?
Zach Collins is a mid off with Loon.
No, he's had a good season this season.
I think he's better.
That's solid.
Who's the Spurs backup big?
I mean, they just put Wemby at the 5, so to be honest, it might be Zach now, to be honest, because they just began rolling out Wemby at the 5.
Okay, so Zach is better.
That's new.
Well. Who else? I'm trying to think of other teams. Orlando has better bigs. All right, that's just a given. Boston, they don't really. Do they have a backup big?
Yeah, does Al Horford count?
Nah, Al Horford's not really their backup big for real.
Wait, who's Al Horford or Looney? I'm taking
Al
Looney.
Horford.
You can imagine Al Horford in the Warriors offense.
That'd be great.
He would be great.
Yeah, that'd be solid.
And hit some corner threes.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Looney, I just went through like most of the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Western Conference. Some of the Eastern Conference teams. Yeah, Looney just, no offense, he's bottom tier. Like
that's crazy, but maybe.
But he's not I don't think he's terrible. I think he's good. I actually am a Looney defender at times, but he's not a good plate finisher. His defending hasn't been good this year. The verticality has regressed as well. So if I'm watching these things, and it could be a factor because he's just playing so many damn games.
Yeah.
Like,
I just think about this. Like, what if Looney was our backup big? Like, I would love to keep him on the team, but let's go get a 5 that can actually, that's athletic.
Wait.
Go. Who?
Play TJD. Oh my God. Just imagine.
What?
Just crazy. But then Looney with CP3 would be disgusting. But like, just imagine, bro.
I just don't think TJD is ready to play at a starting position to if we're planning on making the playoffs. I think he could be good, and I'd like to see him play more minutes. True. But I think like it'd be nice to get somebody that's kind of ready to play now that we can just lob to. And
I know, right? We could have got Jakob Poeltl last year, but we didn't do it.
I do remember that. Okay, Gifted, this is more of a question for you.
Yo, what up?
I've seen people compare us to them, which is embarrassing, seeing that we are a championship caliber team. We aren't anymore. But the Detroit Pistons are on a 22.
No, they got to stop that shit, man. I'm sorry. As someone, listen. Much respect, but like,
Michigan, right?
Yeah,
you went to see a game.
I live in Detroit. I literally live 5 minutes away from the arena they play at. Yeah. Listen, as someone that is a native Detroiter, man.
Native Detroiter is crazy.
I have gone to 5 or 6 games this year. I went to the Warriors games. I went to the Sixers games. I was gonna go to the Pacers game. I missed that. That was a good game. I should have went to that one. And I went to a couple other games. I don't know. I've been to a grip of games, and it's like
all you've seen is losses, right?
Yeah, I've only seen losses. I haven't seen not one W.
No,
that's not even a troll. That's not even a troll. They've been all.
I just realized. He actually seen all losses.
Yeah.
Did the stadium get more and more empty as you went?
Or
more and more seats open?
The last game that I went to, which was the Sixers game, Bagley was out, Duran was out. They only had Wiseman guarding Joel Embiid. And I almost went to sleep in the stadium, and I paid $50 for my ticket. Like, look, Like, hey,
Damn.
but
Refund. That's
it's
crazy.
it's gotten so bad at the beginning of the season. They had a promotion with Wingstop that if the Pistons won a game, that you get 5 free wings, and they have not won a game since, bro. Have
I
not.
did see that.
Yeah.
The curse is real. Bruce asked, "How do you see Wiseman doing?"
Oh my God. Okay. Wiseman continues to show flashes, but fundamentally he's still a lot of the same player. Also, he's not going to be featured as much when you have a front court consisting of Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and also Bagley. Bagley's been better than Wiseman, and they're really both competing for the backup spot in Detroit, if we're being honest. It's just frustrating because every game that I've gone to, except the Sixers game, have been very competitive, but it's always come down to the fourth quarter. And every time they turn the ball over like clockwork, they double team, triple team Cade. They can't make shots, and they just give in over and over and over. It's kind of depressing watching it.
Yeah.
To just know that they went an entire month of basketball with no wins, and there's a chance that they go into the new year with no wins. That's possible.
What's the record? 25 games?
I think the record is 25 straight losses. Let me Google this shit actually, because I don't know.
Something. They're getting close, and at this rate, I just hope that they break it.
Consecutive loss record. Let me see what this is here.
And another thing is, like, with Cade, I mean, I think Cade has the opportunity, or I think he could be a great player on another team. But do you think he'll be in Detroit for a good amount of time, or do you think he's a player that could be moved over the next couple seasons?
So before I answer this, I have an answer here.
Okay.
The longest streak within a single season is shared by the 2010 Cleveland Cavaliers and the 2013 Philadelphia 76ers, who both lost 26 consecutive games. They're like 23 right now, so they're actually close to breaking the record, which is sad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but the Cade stuff. So what's tough about the Cade situation is this isn't really his third year. It is, but it's not for me because he got injured and only played 7 games of his sophomore year. So he's still trying to figure things out into this season. The lineups have been bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's like the same as Kuminga.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, I thought he was older for some reason. That's crazy.
Yeah. Only played like 2 seasons. And even then, his first year, he got hurt. Yep. So he didn't play the majority of his rookie year. And then he missed all but 7 games in his second year. So in reality, he's still trying to cross that 100 games played mark. So like he's still very, very young, but the roster around him is just super duper inept. His best spacer sometimes is Isaiah Stewart. Really, Isaiah Stewart being your best spacer is disgusting. And they've also had multiple injuries. They just got Bojan back. Monty Williams doesn't want to play Jaden Ivey, who's actually been good when he's gotten tick. It's just a lot going on, and it's like a very bad product to watch. I'll be real with you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the update on Wise, and hopefully they can. Hopefully they get a win here in the next few days. That's painful. But another headline coming up is Ja Morant will be returning, I believe, Tuesday, right?
Versus the Pelicans.
Yeah, Tuesday versus the Pelicans. So, and on top of that, it looks like Kenny Lofton Jr. was just waived. So, thoughts on that, Gifted? Are you expecting a lot? I mean, I've seen some of the court footage leaked. It seems like they went pretty hard on him, which is interesting to see. But do you think Ja coming back, is he going to be the same Ja we know? Do you think he's going to kind of clean up his act? And how do you think the chemistry is going to be? Because it seems like his boys, like, they still got his back. They still talk highly of him. I think they're still, I'm sure they're excited to have Ja back.
I'm excited for Ja coming back because I thought, to be honest, how it looked at the beginning of the season when Memphis lost 6 straight games to start, I thought it would be a lot worse. Now, it's still bad. Like, they're still, I believe, 6-18 right now. So they have a lot of ground to cover. But it makes it interesting because they'll be making a run for the play-in. And Ja coming back, to me, there's like a lot of storyline about how good is Ja Morant really. This player is better. That player is better. I think this is a good chance for him to just come back in, lock in on basketball, and try to make a run with this team. So I'm actually very excited to see what the Grizzlies do from this point on. In my opinion, they should try to bottom out this is the perfect time to get a good pick and really rebuild a much better team for next year. But I think with Ja Morant coming back, Ja Morant is going to be playing at a super high level, trying to get them back in that mix. So should be fun hoops. I don't think KB cares.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I have no.
Do you want to talk about
Ja.
the Lakers? Or are we boring you?
Get his ass.
This is a person who tweeted and said I'm rooting for the Lakers. By the way,
She said for that night. She said for that night. She said for that night.
I said no for that night. Okay, yeah. See,
that was
Gifted,
a dark time for me.
look at Gifted, man.
I'm just saying.
Trying to grift. It's disgusting, bro. I'm not letting you get. That's a text.
I'm trying to grift.
You're trying to grift right now, man. I'm not gonna lie. I already said Memphis is cooked with or without Ja.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get into a playing seed. Who cares? I just think they're just not beating a lot of. They're just not a serious team to look at. Like Ja coming back is obviously cool because star-studded player, great player. You know, the talks around him are a bit nasty, but at the same time, he has a lot to prove to me. So
yeah.
I think going into this, I hope to see a great stretch of basketball from him.
Yeah.
But if not, then
you don't really.
No, but if not, then he will be in some talks that will make people feel a little uncomfortable. But
yeah.
hey,
yeah, no, I hear you. And I don't know what to expect, but I am excited to watch Ja. He's one of my most exciting players to watch. I'll give him that. So going off that, I did send the link. If you have any questions for us, you can come on in and share those. But I kind of want to get into tonight's game against Portland. We played them, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, a week ago? It wasn't even that long ago.
A dogfight in the chase, man.
Yeah, and we barely won that game. It was not a feel-good win at all, but at this point in the season, I will take any wins. But KB, break down what you want to see tonight. Is there a lineup you'd like to see played more tonight? And I'm not sure what their injury looks like, but Ayton wasn't there in the last game. I'm not sure if he'll be here tonight. I can look.
I hope he is. So they can't stop playing the switch coverage. It's annoying as hell to watch.
Okay.
Because with Ayton, they can't run that switch everything coverage unless they start switching Ayton out on Steph. Then that would be Steph would just start hunting, and that would make me smile, make me happy. Shout out to Flight. And I think
he is going to be playing tonight.
Yeah. So from the Warriors, what I want to see is continuous movement without the ball. Portland is shown to have size and athleticism and switchability, but actually making creative cuts, making plays on the ball and off the ball in terms of ghost screen action, splitting screens. Like, they're still a younger team. They're still, like, the discipline needs to be taught more. So using that to your advantage would be great. I think playing B-Podz today would, like, B-Podz need to see on-ball touches a lot. This would be a great game and a testament for him to be able to be better for himself. Kuminga needs to play this game. We've already seen it last time we played them. We needed athleticism and finishing. He came in, gave us that in a short amount of minutes. Kuminga has to be a guy you look at as well today as well. I can't speak English. Kuminga has to be a guy to look at today as well. And yeah, honestly, we need this win. I don't want to be right. I don't want us to end off as 1-3. I literally told Gifted, I'm like, yo, watch Portland just blitz us tomorrow, and like, it's just gonna look really bad for us.
Yeah, he was tripping.
I hope I'm tripping because I do not want to lose.
If we get blitzed by Portland, pack it up. That's.
Do we make a trade after this game if we lose by at least 10 or more? If we lose in general, what does that say?
Yo, Masai, what's up, bro? How you doing? Yeah. CP3 thoughts? That's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's exactly what I'm. B-Podz thoughts? Like, I'm calling Utah, calling Toronto.
Do teams want Chris Paul? Let's be honest.
If you're a team like Utah, I don't see why you don't take him. Expiring deal, buy out his contract. You have a lot of cap space.
And you trade Laurie.
And on top of that, another thing, John Collins doesn't want to be a part of them as well.
I did see
that. And that's another player to look at. So if you trade away Laurie, if you trade away John Collins as well, and you're trying to look to get away from Laurie, you need a cap eater. And CP3 does that. So go ahead and take that expiring. You know, you can buy him out, put him on the market, send him to State Farm. God, you can send him anywhere. I don't really care. China, who cares?
Is a good place. Yeah. Gifted. Lineups tonight. Do we win tonight? And how are you feeling? Because back-to-backs could be difficult for us.
I think we win tonight. I think if there's one thing Golden State has shown this year, we cannot beat the good teams, but we beat the bad ones. So hopefully we beat Portland tonight. So far, that's been true. There's not been a loss on our record where we have lost to a team that's been as bad as Portland. let's not start that shit today. Hopefully.
Wait, are they? What are they? Are they like 13th in the West?
It's something, yeah.
So
You can't even laugh. We're like 11th. The mid off.
yeah, it's like Pistons, Portland, and I don't know.
Man, you could never tell me in a million years my team would be this bad while having Steph and Draymond healthy. Like you just couldn't. You couldn't tell me that. You couldn't. This is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Every day, I don't mean to go away from Gifted, but like every day I think of him, I'm like, yo, I'm really every day sitting here watching this team, begging them to win. Before it used to be like we were winning so much that I was just like, we lost, tough loss, but I'll move on.
You know?
We were spoiled, yeah.
I am spoiled, bro.
Yeah,
I am.
we
agree.
We were.
I was
I'm the same way.
listen.
Nah, you're a
Listen,
Lakers fan. You've
listen.
been spoiled. So
Y'all must be speaking in French because I was never spoiled. I kept saying we really won a championship where we beat the best roster in the NBA with the front court that was non-spacers.
I cherish 22. I cherish 22 for
But
sure.
the wins that we were getting, even the year out, like
We were just a winning basketball team for a
We
lot
were.
of
We
years.
were.
everything that
yeah.
could go right did, and now everything that could go wrong is. And it's just such a polar opposite. But it's okay. I mean, like the thing for me that I've been saying is like, I don't care what we do with this team. I would say trade everybody if that's what you want to do. If Steph wasn't playing at the level he's playing at, that is the one
Yeah.
hang up that I just can't get over. I can't watch Steph just fade away in this manner. It's too heartbreaking to watch, and he deserves better.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I just don't know. And I'm sure those are conversations like the front office is having right now. Like, where do we go from here? And an indefinite Draymond suspension is like, what does that mean? I mean, you didn't really say how many games you think that's going to be gifted. I know.
Oh, that's like 10.
You think that's it?
I think it's 15.
I can see 15.
I
So
think it's
10
15.
games
I
is
ain't
what,
gonna lie.
2.5 weeks? Like, that's nothing.
Nah, I think it's 15. I ain't gonna lie. Second offense, repeat offender, and he actually slapped
It's like 100th offense.
It does look kind of bad. It does look kind of bad we do it that way.
I just
I mean,
think
Ja
that
Morant got literally 25 games because
That's what I'm saying.
he was another repeat offender. So I mean,
right.
hear you on that.
Yeah, but
I don't think it'll be
Ja
that
had
many, but
had the Blookiana, so like that's
He
different.
did.
in
The
Draymond
Blookiana for Draymond was his hand. So like,
Yeah,
you
I
feel me?
agree. He didn't have no blicky.
this isn't just some random
is
kid
true.
at the park. This is like this is
Never
another
thought I'd hear Gift
basketball
to say
player.
blick. This is crazy.
But yeah, so Gifted, you think it'll be around 10 to 15, but
yeah, I believe so.
okay, so and then Gary's still coming back. So like we still have yet to see the full roster like playing together like we did at the beginning of the season.
It's just so frustrating because this is my point, right? Like the positive in Draymond being out is you have to do different shit to win basketball games. You can't win the same way because
Right.
Draymond isn't there. So this is the stretch where you see what you have, you see what these guys are made of, and then when Draymond comes back, oh shit, they did this while I was out. Let's add to that. Now we have a better player. Now it's hypothetically a better team in some capacity, but instead, no, it's just more the same shit.
This is what I mean as well, and I'm gonna piggyback off of what Gifted said, bro. When Draymond was out for that suspension, I think in this Kings series, and we played Kuminga, we seen so many positive outlooks out of that because of the pick and roll, like
The first
way
suspension?
the Kings series when he got suspended for stomping Sabonis in Game 2.
Yeah.
By the way, no one talks about Game 3, but Game 3 is such a do or die game because if they lose that game, they go down 3-0, and there was no Draymond. You remember that, KB?
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing is though, it was a double. It was whatever happened. It was a bad end for us. We lose to the Kings. We lose to the Kings, right? With the Sacramento Kings. You lose. I can't believe you lost to the Kings. You feel me? We beat the Kings. Oh, it's just the Kings, so no one takes it serious. So it doesn't benefit.
But you're not out in the first round, though.
Yeah, that's what that's
no.
where
For
he
us,
said
we're not
they
out in the
didn't
first round, but to other people would be like, y'all beat the Kings. The Kings took y'all. Like we hear all the time, the Kings took y'all 7. You know, like this is what I'm talking about. But listen, I think even from last year, to piggyback off of what Gifted was saying, when you needed to make an adjustment, you did. Draymond was out. You played Kuminga. You finally saw the short roll work. You finally saw weak side cuts being there because you had more athleticism to counter some of the things that they were doing defensively. Because earlier in that same series, when Looney was rolling, they were like, yeah, we're not taking you serious. Like, you can try to challenge it. And they would just play the weak side cut. Yeah. You would tell Draymond and Loon, yo, challenge this layup. Let's see if you can make a contact layup. And you play Kuminga. I still remember this. Kuminga's very first short roll pick and roll. They play that same coverage. he literally almost ends Alex Len's entire career. Like literally, I
remember
remember that
that.
poster.
I
And
remember that
he
too.
gets to the line, and they kept playing him in the pick and roll, and it kept working. And then they
Yeah.
had to adjust. So
The
like,
thing is, if you use the sample size from this season where Draymond was out for the 5-game suspension, Kuminga did not step up. That was Moses Moody. Kuminga was basically non-existent in those 5 games. And so
but you
that's
weren't putting him in lineups to thrive. That's my problem as
that's a
well
great
too.
point.
Like you
And
just
so
weren't.
I love what you said is like, yes, let's use this time to see who steps up to the plate. We're already seeing Brandon step up. We did see JK, but like JK barely got the minutes that he got, like barely 20 minutes. I don't understand that. Why are we singing? Like, why are we already trusting Brandon more than we're trusting JK? That's strange. Why is Moses Moody not playing? Like, and it has to, I know it's because he's a guard, but it's just like, why? Like, I just don't understand Steve
Nah, because
Kerr.
offense has always been. I'm not gonna lie. Our defense has been kind of mid this year, but it hasn't really
Yeah.
been a big problem.
Yeah.
Our offense is what been like extremely bad this year. We're like damn near a bottom 10 offense right now, and
So
yeah. So
we trust Brandon's offense more than we trust Moses Moody's.
I think that's what Kerr is thinking. I don't
Okay.
agree, but I think that's what Kerr is thinking. You feel me?
Yeah.
So,
I
So
hear
like,
you.
I don't know. It's weird. I think both of them should be playing a lot, and we see it now because they're both starting.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see it continue, and for them to get actually more minutes as well because we need it.
So tonight, I'm not sure if starting 5 has been released yet, but do we want to see Looney starting at the 5? Is that something you guys want to see?
I would actually
over
love to
Sarge?
see.
Well, but
No, leave
Trace.
Looney in. I'm so tired of seeing Sarge at the 5. I can't. I
I'm
don't care
so
what-
tired of that Sergeant the 5 shit,
Yeah.
bro.
That shit
But
is
it's
so
not like
annoying.
we have another option. Well, we do, but we won't use it.
you
Like,
see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? We're acknowledging he exists, but he don't though. Like
Yeah,
that's
what I'm
crazy.
saying. Like, we can't really put any stock into it because Steve just doesn't play it.
Steve is actually so annoying, man. Why does he troll so much? Like I don't get it.
Nah, he
I
do
see.
be trolling, bro.
This is the worst
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
I know what he knows what he needs to do. He just doesn't want to do it. He
Well,
just
same
doesn't
with the
want to.
challenges. Why won't Steve use his challenges? Like, why is he so hesitant to use his challenges?
He be
I
waiting
don't
to the
get
very
it.
last minute.
We have two. And you don't use them at the end anyways, typically. So I just
Yeah, I don't know.
Steve.
The challenge. I want 2 challenges being used out of Steve Kerr today. The challenge
too.
1, play TJD. Challenge 2.
And that is a
don't
challenge
play-
for him.
Like
That definitely constitutes as a challenge for Steve Kerr.
Challenge 2, cut
I'm with you on
CP3's
that.
minutes. Okay, this is another thing that we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
I have a question for both of y'all, and chat can answer this too if y'all want. How do y'all feel about these CP3, Klay, and Curry lineups? I want y'all to be honest.
That shit ass.
Yeah.
You think it's terrible? You
I
gotta
don't like
explain,
I don't like Chris Paul with Steph.
what about
Personally,
you?
for me.
I don't mind it if it's in the tiniest, like if it's like 4 minutes of the game. But my thing is like Chris Paul's pace is just so much slower, and that's just not how naturally Klay and Steph work. Like we need that speed, and that's why Draymond in the lineup just getting the ball down the floor quickly and efficiently and finding the perfect look. Like he's just so good at that. And Chris Paul, like he just slows things way down. And
Because I'll be honest, right?
Detrimental.
I agree. He does slow the offense down a lot. We went from like one of the fastest teams in the league to one of the slowest teams in the league, which is
Like
crazy.
bottom in pace. I
Um,
think.
So, and that's just one old person being on our team. Listen, I'm so tired, chat. I call these CP3 and Curry and Klay lineups. It's really CP3, Klay, and Klay. Because they just turned Steph into a like, we all know
A
Steph
shooting
is an-
guard.
look, we all know Steph is an elite off-ball player. But I like it when he's creating for himself, doesn't see what he likes, or gets the advantage that he wants, gives up the ball, then to move to relocate to where the advantage is on the floor. That's what I like.
But
I
without the
don't-
defense that we are typically used to having, Steph's having to do so much more now because no one's setting. I mean, Dario's good with Steph. I think Dario and Steph in a lineup is all right, but no one's setting the screens that he typically gets at. Draymond's not in there to kind of, set him up for success. Steph is just like, it's not the same. He's having to do a lot
I
more.
agree that it's not the same in terms of that, but I also agree 2 things go into that. One, Steph is just not being as aggressive. Like yesterday was a
100%.
testament for him being aggressive and actually hunting for his own shots, but he just hasn't been that aggressive this season to start. He's just been giving up the ball and just coming off of a couple of screens, and then he'll have a random possession where he'll put up like an insanely contested 30-footer. Mind you, it'll be halfway in the rim and come out, but that's just not a shot that you give up within your first shot attempt.
But the
And
thing is-
sorry, go ahead.
Well, on top of that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just going to say, like, guys are, I mean, Steph is always double teamed, right? But like people are far more aggressive with Steph. And these young guys, like these young, solid defenders, are the ones that they're putting on Steph. Steph, like he's still him, but I think that he's getting worked so much more. And you know, he is getting older. So yeah, that's gonna drain him a lot faster. And that's why we're seeing the fourth quarter, like he even Steph is getting gas. Like he'll put up shots, but everyone is tired. We just can't, we don't have the energy coming from our starters that we can compete with the young defenders that we're,
I
you know,
feel
matching
you
up
on
with.
that, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why you don't play CP3. What is you playing CP3 with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry gonna do for you? I don't want Klay and Steph just both coming off of curl screens. Like that's just annoying.
That's
to
what the
watch.
offense really
Like,
boils down into. Yeah,
Like that's what I'm saying. Like it just when CP3's on the floor and the ball's not in his hands, he brings no value to anything that we're doing
Right.
at all. In
Right,
terms of like in nothing. So he just has to have the ball. I see possessions where I seen a possession yesterday where Steph caught the rebound and wanted to push it. CP3 was demanding for the ball and just slowed everything down. It
I did see
resulted
that.
into like a contested three from Steph going in. But bro, I just don't want to see those possessions. I don't
Well-
want to see CP3 and the only play that I see besides Steph coming off of a curl screen with CP3 and Steph is the brush screen where Steph goes to set a guard-to-guard screen. CP takes it and Steph goes out to the three-point line and he shoots like a fading three. Like that play is okay, but that shouldn't be something that you go to all the time. It's so redundant what you're like needing out of CP3 and Steph. On top of that, you'll have a lineup where you'll play CP3, Draymond, Klay, and Steph. Like as if that will make it any better. Like CP3 doesn't move off the ball at all. The difference between him and Draymond is that Draymond
He doesn't move in general.
Yes, he doesn't move in general. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Draymond Green actually cuts. He can play off the ball, and he can do what CP3 does in terms of setting the floor up for Steph and Klay to be able to get quality looks. And on top of that, he's a bigger body, and then defensively, he's clearly a better defender. I don't really have to argue that.
No, you don't.
So it's like, what there is. Every time I see him on the floor, I'm like, what do we need him for? There's no need for him to be here at all. B-Podz can do your job. Steph can do your job. We can play much better lineups. We can have B-Podz and GP2 out there, and defensively and offensively, that'd be great. We can have Moody out there with them if they want. We can have Kuminga out there, Sarge and TJD. That'd be a great bench lineup. But I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know.
No, that's a good point. Let's just say Chris Paul was not in our lineup this season. Let's say, I don't care, we got some random person that's a bench player that doesn't really make that much of a, doesn't move the needle that much.
Yeah.
Does our season look a lot different?
Yes. I'm not gonna lie, we win more games with CP3 not being there. I'm just saying.
And let's just say, because who is that who's coming off of the bench initially in the season when we have no understanding of who B-Podz is, when we don't really know what JK and Moses Moody are going to be? Like, was that their concern of like who's going to be the point guard coming off the bench? Who is that going to be? We would have. Steve Kerr is barely just starting.
We wouldn't have known. We wouldn't have known that though.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is gonna sound like KB, you're just going to disagree. I watched a lot of film on B-Podz in college.
I did too.
Play in Santa Cruz as well. You can tell what kind of player he was going to be with the Warriors. Everyone knew coming into this when he was drafted that it was a good pickup. He fit the exact mold of what you needed to do. The training camp and things of that nature would have prepared him for the responsibility. And I think Kuminga came into his own fruition. I don't really think CP3 has helped Kuminga at all in terms of becoming a better player. I'll be honest with you. He barely involves Kuminga in any sets as well.
We've barely seen it. Yeah.
Moses Moody has always been a consistent player to me too. So it's just like, yeah, there could have been a question mark for off the bench stuff in general. There still is a question mark right now, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. I just think B-Podz would have gotten more responsibility. And I actually think, to be honest with you, especially how the way he's been playing now, in hindsight, he probably would have looked even more better.
If he had started earlier. I agree for you. And this, Bruce, this isn't just like a CP3 hate fest. Like, this is just like, we watch him day in and day out.
It is.
And basically,
I hate
it.
I hate him.
Like, I've actually changed my stance. I was Chris Paul's biggest hater. I have come to like him, and I think he's a great veteran presence. But like, don't play him anymore. He's just
even Haley's voice is cracking up when she tries to compliment.
Nah, Haley's voice cracking. It is funny as hell though,
bro. Like, she's trying to compliment.
Getting emotional here.
The body was resisting it. Like,
the body was resisting it. It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He sucks.
Yeah.
I don't care what Bruce has to say. Bruce, I rock with you, bro. CP3 is terrible. He's old. That
He is
doesn't mean
bad.
he's not a good basketball player anymore.
And I'd
bro.
love to have him on the bench, like doing what he does and just like kind of playing that Iggy role. I don't care. Like, I like having him around. It's just, I think he's being, I mean, he's not the main core of our issues. We have a lot of issues, but I just want to see him not play a few games and see how we look.
I think what frustrates me though is that like Chris Paul will give you time. Like Chris Paul Dario it's such predictable offense, but it works and you produce. But the ceiling of it is just so questionable, especially when you play switch everything defenses where Chris Paul is not getting to the rim. He's gonna reset, kick it back out to Dario Saric.
Yep. It's predictable. That's a great word.
It's literally I watched plays where literally CP3 and Dario ran the pick and roll, and Dario didn't like it. CP, I'd never seen this before. CP gave up the ball, seen that Dario didn't get it, and relocated fast. Relocated to get the ball back and run it again.
Yes,
I seen him
pulled it all the way back out. Yep,
bro. Looked. What was the play again? Where he looked away from Wiggins or someone? He looked away from Wiggins and told him to move. Don't set the screen. Dario, come.
Yeah,
I remember that play as well.
Bro. I remember watching it with KB. We were dying laughing because they try the initial and it doesn't work. Wiggins is sitting right here. Chris Paul says, no. Come back up here, Dario. And 5 more seconds on the shot clock come back because they trying to do that shit.
Why? What's going through his head? Why do you think he only has that connection with Dario?
He played with him in Phoenix, so like he just knows where his spots are, how to play with him.
But like that can't be. He's one of the greatest point guards ever. You can't have that mindset. That's just
leadership,
lazy.
right? I don't know. I guess
I don't know. I do not know what to tell you with that shit.
When you're 39 and senile, some things you only remember a few times. So like he only remembers Dario Saric. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I just last few points and then we will hop off. But I guess we'll make a few bets or predictions. Yes or no? Do you think Trace Jackson Davis is going to see more minutes over this next week? Yes or no?
No.
Gifted?
No. He should, but no. I don't think it's going to happen, bro.
So why did they recall him from the G League if he's not going to play? What is this?
Okay, but
leave him there at least to practice.
The stay ready mentality.
Why were his first minutes in the fourth quarter in a close game of the Suns? He plays well and he gets no more minutes. I don't know. I truly don't know.
And he's good. Like he's good under pressure. It doesn't seem like he's like, out of sorts. Like he seems okay in his element. And like, yeah, he's had some turnovers and made a few mistakes. He's also had some insane highlights that were on NBA. Like I just don't understand why they're just not going to use him. So, okay. And then out of these three, Moses, Kuminga, and B-Podz, who do you think we're going to see the most minutes and most love from Steve Kerr this next week?
You said Moses, Kuminga, B-Podz. Huh. That's interesting.
Do you think he's going to start rolling with B-Podz more now that we're
B-Podz has been playing 30 minutes a game, by the way.
I know.
It's going to be him.
But then you won't play Moses Moody, who is a good two-way player. I don't get that either.
I'm going to be super honest.
You're okay with it.
I hate saying this, but I really think the answer is to take more minutes away from Looney and just go small. Honestly, I know that we hate the small shit, but I think B-Podz needs those minutes. I think Looney kind of is good at like I don't know 10 minutes, 15 minutes a game.
Less minutes from Klay Thompson. Hey man, it is what it is.
Bro, Klay. Okay, but listen, we really no. We really gotta stop this Klay shit. He shoot at 44% for free.
Listen. We're off of that, man. Before we end this show, y'all.
Without Klay making that shot, we lose. By the way,
no, we don't. We don't need him.
Yes, we do lose that game.
Listen, anyways, man.
Oh my God.
Don't listen to Gifted. He's just coping right now. It's okay.
I'm coping, Chad. Okay.
No one agrees with this take, KB. I'm saying that right now.
We're doing chat. We have the next 4 games. You feel me? Obviously counting today as well. We got today versus Portland. Tuesday we play Boston in the Chase Center. Friday is a rematch. Is the awaited. I'm so mad because Draymond is out. The Jordan Poole return game versus Washington.
I go see it.
Question. Do you think they're gonna have like a not a ceremony, a tribute to Jordan Poole?
Hell no.
Yes.
I think
Absolutely
they
they
might.
will.
I actually think they might.
What if they
Undoubtedly
play
they
the
will.
team video in it? I'm just
Bro,
kidding.
I'm not. I
No,
keep seeing videos of like 2022 Jordan Poole like against the Nuggets getting hyped. Bro, it makes me so sad.
You
But
are
listen,
you're so
I'm gonna
sad.
continue reading off. So we have Portland today, Boston Tuesday, a couple of days off. Then we played Washington on Friday. Then we have a back-to-back Washington, and we play Portland again in the Chase Center. So
Bro, those are
predictions,
so many
records.
winnable games. Those are so
Hey,
many
did we
winnable
play
games.
Christmas Day or did we get written off?
You said
And I
what?
play Christmas Day. We play Christmas Day. We play the
Yeah,
Nuggets
we
on
do.
Christmas.
We play the
Oh,
Nuggets
they
on.
kept us in. I would have
Yeah,
written
yeah.
us off. I'd be like, replace us with somebody else. But
Nah, it's not happening. We got Steph Curry.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Niggas want to see us. Oh, sorry, can't.
all right.
can't
Oh,
sign it.
okay, guys. Well, we're gonna check out, but make sure to go follow us.
Oh,
Gifted.
predictions. You guys don't want to do predictions?
Oh yeah. Quick predictions. I'm gonna go 1 of 4.
Nah, fuck out of here.
1 and 3.
I'm going
Okay.
3. I'm going 3-1. We don't lose to bad
I'm not gonna
teams.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. I only see I legit. You know what, chat? Nah, I'm saying 2 and 2. I ain't gonna lie.
We lose
I'm
tonight, we lose
3-1.
I think
I'm
we get
3-1.
blitzed. I think we get blitzed by.
win positive.
No, we don't get blitzed by those, bro. Think about how that sounds in your mind. Getting blitzed by Portland is crazy.
Let me
I'm
finish. I
thinking-
think we get blitzed by Portland.
You're not serious, bro.
We lose to Boston in a tight one, and then we play the Wizards. We blow them out because we're gonna get up for that
No,
game
we
because
would.
Steph is gonna, you know what I'm saying. And then the following game, we beat Portland in a thug out. So yeah, that's what.
Watch
I think.
Jordan Poole go for like 45 again.
Nah, Jordan Poole will hoop. He will hoop.
He's gonna hoop.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you guys. We'll see you guys later. Have a good day.
Peace.
Bye.
I think we